They are number one in fast fun. Our good friends over at Seminole Power Sports, namely Don Kuhn. That is your point. That's your guy. That's the guy you need to talk to. I just sent a listener over there this morning, because he got him. The motorcycle bug got him. He is in the market for a mini bike. He wants a Honda Grom.
Yeah.
Which they make another one that's a little more vintage, but the Grom is the little more futuristic, tinier one.
Yeah.
Now I kind of want a Grom.
Whether you're
I haven't even built my scooter yet. I got to stop.
Whether you want Groms, scooters, dirt bikes, four-wheelers. We've had listeners
side-by-sides.
Like two awesome four-wheelers. They've got a ton of different toys.
Cruisers. That's kind of what I'm feeling lately. A cruiser.
We're going into the spring and summer where if you want watercraft, they got them at Seminole Power Sports.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about jet skis.
Also, Seminole Power Sports North in Eustis has all the brands, plus they got Suzuki up there. And if you're looking for an awesome toy, because we live in Florida, there are places to ride. Yeah. There are places to go.
Or garage accessories. And what I mean by that are like coolers and little things, riding gear.
Honda
helmets,
generator,
all the things that you need to kind of make the area where you keep your toys luxurious and nice.
I use their service department all the time for my boys' four-wheelers and for dirt bikes and stuff. Great service department.
I've used them for my Ruckus. I have a 2017 Honda Ruckus still going strong.
They're right there on Reinhardt Road in Sanford, or like we said, in Eustis. That's Seminole Power Sports North. But just check them out online, SeminolePowersports.com. Anyway, what do we want to talk about? Because all I had it written down for the PDM show.
We can do voicemails and emails if you want.
Voicemails and emails.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do a few of those. Voicemails and emails are perfect here. I'll talk about on the BDM show. I drank too much in your hot tub.
Okay, I'll bitch about
you got to be careful drinking in the hot tub. You'll pass out.
I can't. I was having too much fun. I've seen the error of my ways. This guy knows how to relax. He's got a palace. Like a Palace of Versailles over there with a big screen TV and a hot tub.
I'll talk about this because I think Norm's in the chat room, so he could.
Okay.
You going to say something mean to Norm?
No. Well, I don't know. I think he's getting me good because on the Norm created this Facebook page. Have you seen? And now everybody's.
Did you know that? Do you see his low key way of talking about it?
Yeah.
To bring it up like he hates it. Do you see that?
Yeah.
But he's just wanting more people in there.
No.
There's tons in there now.
Yeah. It's
Norm's
hundreds.
letting anybody in there.
Hundreds in there. It used to be like exclusive.
Elite. Yeah.
Everybody's posting the first time they met me.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's like
the first time I met Tom Van.
It's like I'm at my own funeral.
Oh no, I didn't think about it that way.
I'm just reading, and it's like I'm living my own funeral, and all the stories not that impressive to me and to my impact on other people's lives. It's all
very minimal impact. It's a minimal impact.
So it's like reading. It's like being at my own funeral, and everyone's
like, "Yeah, I met him."
A mediocre thing to say to them.
I got something to say about Tom.
And it's all meeting me at gas stations or.
The first time I met Tom, I met him at a gas station. He was fine.
Yeah, he gave me some tickets to some show I don't really care about. So or it's people doing free work at my house and then showing people how cheap I am.
I don't remember. I cannot remember the first time I met you.
Well, because it's not that impactful in anybody's lives, obviously, because I read through them and it's not an amazing experience.
Well, see, that's. You're making it negative.
Yeah, you're doing what I just taught. You're doing exactly what I just told you.
They're proud about how they met Tom.
They're not even proud. I think they think they have to do it. And then Norm is sitting back laughing, and I think it's Norm's way to make me sad.
Is this a real club or not?
For making fat jokes about it.
Are we having a real pizza party or not?
Yeah, I'm doing that at the Ailstone, and I'm doing it.
No.
Well, because I saw the
party cut
as an opportunity. I was like, maybe I need Ailstone to continue to advertise, so maybe this group will show up.
You might want to give them a heads up because there's going to be a lot of pizza.
Why don't you just, if you want Ailstone to continue to advertise, why don't you just do a good job of talking about their products instead of having a pizza party?
Well, because all the bars and restaurants, everybody wants a meetup or an event.
Yeah,
right? That's
with the main guy.
We'll just like some sort of meetup, and then every time we do meetups, I'm always going back to like being nervous about success of things.
Okay.
Daniel's the same thing. Like when we do a meetup,
Oh, I hate it. I'm scared that people aren't going to show up.
We're so
That's why I'd rather just not do
tortured.
it. I'd just rather not do it.
We went through a career in radio where we just stand there and nobody showed up. Hence all
My
the stories.
entire career, no one showed up.
First time I met Tom, he was standing behind a table and nobody was around him.
You know, there was
so I
a
went up
sweet
and decided
spot.
to talk to him, and it was awkward.
There
That's
was-
all the stories.
There was a sweet spot about 3 years before I resigned where I was glad that nobody would show up.
Yeah, of course.
Because I knew I was making big money. I was making $150 an hour. I do a 2-hour promotion. I get $300, right off the top. And there was a time though where you had to fix your brain by saying it's okay if people don't come out here.
Yeah.
It's not a reflection on you. These are horrible designs. These promotions are horribly designed. Nobody wants to come to a Lowe's at noon and see you standing out by the gas grills. Nobody wants to see that.
Yeah. Who made this happen?
Nobody. It's not your fault for this. So you need to go there and you get that $300. And you need to, and then be happy about it, and be happy that nobody shows up, and just talk to the promo person and make them your new best friend.
That's what I used to be.
Talk to, and that for about 3 years, right before I left, when that would happen.
Yeah.
Oh, so good, Chef's Kiss. I loved it. It was easy. It was 2 hours. $300, new best friend. Just talking about what are you doing this weekend, Jerry? I don't know. My old lady's a real bitch.
Hey, well, that creates the whole army of people who have a story about the first time they met you in the front of Lowe's, and then it was awkward.
I thought it was sweet.
Well, I think
He doesn't have any emotions, so he doesn't know what sweet is.
He seems to have some emotions. Upset about it.
I would like it to be the first time I met Tom Van. He told me something poignant. You know, celebrities like
but
Bill
you never
Murray.
say anything poignant.
No, I don't want to blame myself.
You have to say poignant.
Well, I didn't know it was the first time they met me. If I knew, I would try to come up with something.
You'd be like, I've never met this person before. I need to put on airs. I need to act fancier than I am.
Well, you know, certain celebrities have stories from, like, I met Bill Murray one time, and he
Why do you always use Bill Murray? He's been canceled now. You can't even use him
nobody
anymore.
even likes him anymore.
Nobody likes Bill Murray
I don't know
anymore.
anything about it, but there's stories.
Switch to Kid Rock.
There's stories of him, like, he whispered in my ear, "Nobody will ever believe you." And then he went along, and it's like, and then they have a special story that they will remember forever. All the special stories are like either doing free work at my house or they just came into the studio and I had an awkward conversation with them. Nothing that
There was a lot of people meeting you at Latitudes.
I'm at Latitudes.
Which most of them said they were blacked out and they barely remember it.
A lot of makeup.
So how special is it? Norm's doing this on purpose to make
How would Norm have known?
he's an evil genius.
He's not an evil genius.
He's
you don't
worked this
have
out.
to be a genius to know that you are fueled by your ego.
I remember
If
the first
make
time
a
you met
Tom Van
Norm. Do
group
you? Do you remember the first time you met Norm?
It was at the.
Don't help him.
Oh, is
Not me?
It was
Yeah.
at
I don't
Hourglass.
remember.
It was at
You
Hourglass.
called him Richard.
Was it Hourglass? Okay,
Yeah,
I
it was
remember that.
Hourglass.
Yeah, it was at Hourglass.
Was it? But it wasn't special for
He called
Norm.
him Big Fat Richard.
Well, he's obviously getting me back now because now he's created this whole thing that, of course, I'm drawn to look at.
Yeah,
and it's
because
all,
he's fueling your ego, and then
it's all just it's an obituary of how my life wasn't that impactful. I'm just reading story after
But it
story
is, if you
of
have
mediocre
multiple-
experiences.
If you have multiples, though, I feel like it is impactful.
What do you mean? Like a bunch of people that you just read one after the other? I didn't impact anybody's life at all.
2,000 of them. That's good. You impacted a couple lives.
No, none of them had a special moment with me at all. It was all just.
Do you remember the first time you met Tom?
Yeah, I put it in the group. It was at Mellow Mushroom in 2010. You guys were doing trivia out there, and it was the first time you guys were selling Lambo Dick shirts.
Did I?
Oh,
do
I
you
saw
remember the
that.
first time you met me?
I thought you were on
I
the
was
show
17,
already.
and I job shadowed you for my high school project.
Oh, really?
Well, that's important. You were job
I
shadowing.
bet I was impactful. I bet I was very. Did I
Yeah,
tell you
you're
some?
very impactful.
Did I tell you some important things?
Yeah.
Important words?
Yeah. Well, that's
See,
special.
that's the way you do it, baby. That's
No, yeah.
I left she was 17 years old. I may have convinced her to go into broadcasting.
Yeah.
It was me that convinced you to go into broadcasting, right? Like you talked to me, you job shadowed me, and you're like, I think I'm cut out for this. And one day I'll be his producer.
You know what it is?
Look what she did. She called her shot.
I manifested
it.
She
called her shot, man.
Have you ever been to a funeral where someone says one thing and then they go to the crowd and say, like, oh, anybody have anything else to say?
Yes, I have.
And then one uncle finally gets up there and is forced to be like, oh, I don't want to have no one say anything.
Yeah.
So
and
then he just starts rambling on
about his boots.
About some sort of minuscule,
superficial,
like,
dumb shit.
He showed up to work every day and we talked all the time at lunch.
Good hair.
It was just like, that's all you have, and that's it. That's what it feels like. A bunch of people just having like minutes.
Would you rather not have it? Because I feel like that would be
worse. It's nothing special.
No, that would be
And then I'm reading it all, and I'm like, well, look at my career. Well, what have I done?
Well, I think it would be worse if you didn't even have the group, because we all know that the group is what keeps you going.
No, the group reminds me how little I've done.
So tell him to shut the group down.
I can't, because I like the fact that this group. That's why he's an evil genius.
There it is.
Because he's just showing me the obvious, which I want to see. I wanted to see the fantasy.
Look at all these millions of people that think you're nothing. Is that what he's doing?
Yeah.
That's the evil genius voice?
Yeah. It's
look at all these people who barely remember you, how hard they have to work to remember how they met you.
He's showing me the truth instead of the fantasy that I have in my head.
What is the fantasy you have in your head? That all of these people, like, they go to bed every night thanking you for the impactful things that you told them?
I think every day I'm like, someone's like, I'm glad Tom's
Name one person you've given advice that it helped him out.
Well, it's obviously no one.
Other than Dan Cummins.
Yeah, but I don't even think he was on the path.
He was already on it.
In fact, I don't think when he called me, I rambled on for an hour.
He's like, Jesus Christ, this guy won't shut up. God, I wish I was at a funeral right now.
I think he was just asking me to use Lipson or something. I don't think he even wanted to hear the other stuff, and I just told him, and then I made up in my head.
I just needed the number of your branding agency, you idiot. I don't need to know 2 to 4 and 4 to 8.
Yeah. I don't think he needed to know any of this. In fact, he's doing way better than us, so obviously he didn't need to know nothing.
My God. I see his ads for his show are more impactful than our show. He'll just have an ad and it'll be like, coming up next. And it'll be like something he's doing, and I'm like, oh my God, that looks amazing.
I started telling him one time about how much merch we sold, and then he told me.
Don't even tell me.
And then he told us how much merch he sold, and it blew the front glass of our fish tank cracked. That's how much money he was making.
Yeah. Just one item, and I was like, "You've done more than we've ever."
Yeah. What are you guys? We're doing $5 T-shirts. He's like, "What are you? What am I doing? I'm doing $100 duffel bags, and I sold 1 million of them. How about that, you idiots?"
Yeah. And they got a lot of merch over there.
Then I realized I'm going to stop giving him advice.
You need to ask him for advice.
I've done it. Then
he tells us, and then Tom's like, I'm not interested.
Too hard.
We met with his merch guys, the guy, because and they're like, we can do anything in house. We're like, not interested.
Too big. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is a different level. We're back.
This is embarrassing.
I'll go back to 7-Eleven. That's where I belong.
Sometimes I do miss the days of folding our own T-shirts.
We'll be doing it next week.
Look out there in the garage, and there's some young teen girl I don't know folding and stuffing shirts.
It was a listener.
Like, can I take lunch? No. I'm like, no, you can't take lunch.
Are we getting lunch when we're packing these shirts?
No, Tom said no.
Or do we have to bring our own lunch?
You said, are we getting gringos? And I could already hear him like, that'll slow us down. No time for gringos, you idiot.
No, you wanted to get it catered. I was like, we don't need catering.
I didn't say anything. Don't yell at me.
I'll go to McDonald's.
Sam said,
McDonald's.
Sam said, are we getting catered by gringos? And I can already hear you saying no. I can hear him saying no.
Yeah.
Before he says no. I can hear his no. It's because his mind goes, no. You can hear it like ramp up.
We'll get lunch.
Sure, we get McDoubles.
What do you guys want?
McDouble. I'll just work through my lunch.
4 McDoubles.
I'll just work through my lunch.
I got Daniel McDonald's one time for helping me get him a hot tub.
Yeah.
And all he does is bitch about it, and I was trying to do what friends do for each other. You buy lunch if you're trying to get some hot tub.
Though. McDonald's.
He got me McDonald's. He got me McNuggets.
And it was from Daniel's old math teacher or something.
What?
High school math teacher.
She was trying to buy a busted ass hot tub from my old math teacher in DeLand, and she came out, and she's a bigger lady. She came out.
You know what though? I helped Jessica with a hot tub. No McDonald's, so you know what? At least she got a meal.
We got there, and then Dirty Jim showed up, and he's like,
Jimmy
"Where the hell? I've been looking for this place for hours in the back of somebody's trailer."
Was he helping you move it?
He was. I
asked for his help.
It was me, Gannon, the
by the way,
Magic
it makes
Man.
him a way better person than I am, because if, I've said this before, if someone below
he
me...
just wanted to smoke a cigar away from his wife. Seriously, that's what he does. He'll do anything for a cigar and his dog. Now, you know Jimmy. He's like me. If you tell me to do anything, just you put a Coors Light there and my dog, I'll be there.
If Jimmy asked me to go to some cockamamie scheme and lift something,
but he did it for you. He did it for you.
I know.
So
He's
he shows
a good guy.
up, and then we go out there, and then we realize that this thing is it is a bucket of rust. From the inside, I mean,
and it was full too, so we couldn't even put it in the back of my truck.
We couldn't drain it.
Well, because I was like, it proved to me it works. I want it hot when I show up.
I had to dig one out of the mud.
Mud.
God, what did we do in our lives?
Well, that's what we've been.
Sawed it in half at the end.
This is when trash people want to be fancy. They get mud koozies, and it's stupid.
Well, then I
stay in your lane, trash people.
100 posts about how I'm a trash person. And the first time they met me, I was there trying to buy their hot tub.
So most of the people in the Tom Van Club are just people that...
It's a lot of gas stations.
It's all
a lot of latitudes.
It's all latitudes.
Gas stations.
And doing work at my house.
Gas stations and latitudes is a Jimmy Buffett song.
That just reminds me. I was like, well, it wasn't that good. I thought I envisioned my career a lot better than this. Anyway, he's trying to get me. I'm telling you. It's all those fat jokes. And he's like, I know what I'll do. And then he came up with his own...
now, right? He's like happy and doesn't he have a girlfriend?
Yeah. Well, now he's bullying
taking
me.
It out on
yeah. I know what you're doing, Norm. I see it.
This is a good one to end. Izzy called in to talk about getting your feelings hurt.
Hey, Tom, Dan, Sam, Izzy here. I was listening to the Friday Free Show, and Tom was talking about, everybody was talking about getting your feelings hurt over a joke and something like that. And Tom said, You said if you direct it at me, yes, I'll get mad and whatnot, and we'll argue and then we'll fight. I know Tom's not going to fight. But that sparked a thought in me. I wouldn't fight over words. Like, I only have maybe 2 good fights in me, really 2 good really fights in me. And honestly, words are not going to make me fight. You got to really provoke me, and then I'll pounce on you like a cheetah. But other than that, nah.
Well, what are they provoking you with? Words. It's like it's rare that someone just comes at you with violence.
What, they knock the hat off your head or something?
Yeah, I guess
that's a move. Right? Knock your sunglasses off.
That's a violence.
You ever had anybody do that?
Well, usually
ever had anybody push you?
Words are starting first. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm not gonna fight someone over just words, but words are usually the start of it, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, is the person saying those words in a combative, insulting way to draw this towards a fight? Yeah. And so it's not. Fighting over words is stupid.
My new favorite videos. This is related, unrelated. Are videos of Rogan red muscle men that come up to cars and punch the windows out.
Okay.
There's tons of these.
Yeah. What are you doing?
They got high blood pressure.
Yeah, they're literally they're freaking out. They're like, "Why'd you pull me over?" And then they smash through the window, and then they just get in their car like that's acceptable. They're just going to drive away, and it's okay.
The rage that people have and the anger is
it's gone up, right? I think it's gone up a little bit.
No, it's just we see it.
We see it more.
It's all the same. It's everybody is the same as it always has been. It's just we're seeing it now. And that's the difference. I truly believe it. I mean, it could be wrong, but it seems like if you just see it more, you think more of it's happening, right?
Yeah.
And so I think road rage has always been around. It's just now everybody has a phone on them and filming it.
And a gun.
Yeah, I don't do that though. I'll see some things happen. I never am like, film it. It's never my first thought ever for anything. My daughter could be doing something impressive and I'll just stand there and watch it. I guess I'm old.
It's people, they go to the front. Oh, when you're seeing something like a road rage incident and stuff, like Crystal saw like someone pulling a trailer and then it started fire. Did you see that on her Facebook or whatever? Like she was just sitting at a stoplight and then all of a sudden, this person had a trailer full of cardboard and then it was smoldering.
All the pizzas from the Tom Van Pizza party.
Oh my god!
And then she's like, "Look at this trailer!" And people are honking at the guy and then telling him like, "Hey!" And then someone.
I like it when it's a person that doesn't know, and I like it when you're trying to tell them something, and they're like, "What?" And then they're like, "Still don't know," and then they drive away. I like that.
Yeah. I always look at when that happens. I'm like, that would be me for sure. My trailer would be on fire, and then I'm just driving down the street. And it's
driving around.
Huge. What do you do? I was like, where did that guy go? Because she said when he started driving off, like the flames started coming up,
the air,
and then
giving it air.
I was like, once your trailer is fully engulfed, where do you
firehouse subs? You gotta go to firehouse subs.
Do you go
fully involved?
Do you pull into a
car wash? Car wash. You go through the car wash.
I pulled into a CVS when my truck caught on fire.
No, you go through a car wash, right? Or you pull off the side of the road, and then you're getting anything. You get your members only jacket. You're whacking it. Trying to put it out.
So much fire that there's no way you're going to put it out with just your hands or a jacket.
No, you got to call the fire department.
Well, the first thing you do is you dump your coffee or big gulp on it.
Any liquid, pee on it.
Anyway, all right. We got to go. Bye-bye. Welcome back to Corporate Time. We've got Deborah here for Fairfield Megastore.
Hey.
Always love it when Deborah stops by.
Yes. How you doing, Deborah?
Always a fun time.
I'm doing good. Doing really well. Getting ready for 420.
How's the Sanford store doing?
It's doing great.
I've been talking to a lot of people around Sanford that have swung by.
Swanging. John Anderson. Look at this guy, Justin. Swanging.
I don't know why I said that like that.
It's a Florida reference, and you've got a little Southern, man. You're relaxed. When Deborah gets here, I notice that we know we're not going to do like a ton of like hard-hitting crunching the numbers, so I think we relax a little bit.
Yeah.
You're talking about the new location in Sanford. We've had a bunch of listeners swing through there. That lot of apparel.
Lot of apparel at that store. It's
Is
very
that its
heavily
main
focused.
focus?
Yeah, a little. I would say so.
Okay.
I mean, we have to kind of curate the store to its environment.
Sure.
And so it still has some of the wellness items in there. There's always a little bit in there.
Always a tiny
lot. A lot of gifts,
Your
games,
gateway oils.
and apparel for sure. Yeah.
So let's go through some of the items right off the bat. I don't want to start with this, but
You're eyeballing something there.
I'm looking at the D cutting board.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think we can say that's the actual name, but
I think you can say the brand name. Can you say that? Charcuterie.
Charcuterie.
We can say it.
Yeah, we can say charcuterie.
Let's just
I sound like a maniac. Charcuterie.
So this is the small version. Well, with 420 munchies, I thought that it might be fun to let people know that we actually brought these in and large sizes, smaller sizes, and boobs.
Oh.
Boobcooterie.
Boobcooterie. Yeah. And we have some accessories. We have board lube, so you actually can
oil it up.
And
keep it nice.
My favorite accessory are the D-picks.
Oh my God! Tom's mind is blown.
Yes.
Little toothpicks.
Little toothpicks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you get
put them in your little tiny sandwiches.
All right,
That's right.
It's
on
perfect
the board
for a finger sandwich.
Yep.
Now, I like sneaking
charcuterie.
that into your Meemaw's house and then seeing if she ever notices. Oh my! No, I don't think she'd notice right off the bat. She'd just be like,
you
"Oh,
could use
it's a
that
cutting
for
board."
sushi. You could use that for like a lot of guys that I know. If you're not doing charcuterie, you can just slice meat on it. Just leave it out there like snacking sausage or whatever.
If you got like a bachelorette party,
that's perfect.
Yeah, and you're having some wine and cheese.
And it's
put it
good
on
quality.
the
Really
keyboard.
nice quality.
Yeah,
they're
very good
handcrafted. And what's great, this company's out of Canada. Super nice company, of course, because they're out of Canada. And we placed the largest wholesale order that they had so far.
Oh, that's awesome.
Super sweet. But they also donate a portion of their profits to an organization that battles testicular cancer.
There you go.
So we're really happy to support small
Awesome.
companies and companies that are, that are into charitable donations.
Yeah, and that's one of the more unique kind of like half gag, but also completely useful.
it's useful, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but you're not going to be able to find that anywhere else, and that's why we keep beating the drum of like if you do have like a birthday special gathering, going away party, a new person got a promotion or something, you want to get them something that literally you're not going to be able to get anywhere else.
Yep.
I'd go to the main store. I'd go to the big mega store right there in OBT, and because there's so much stuff.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff, but I'll tell you, we did bring these in at all of our locations. Might not have the biggest one, but there is going to be representation at all stores.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I like to imagine that this Canadian housewife started this company, and then her husband, who's a carpenter, like they're both out of work, and she's like, "We can make these boards, these charcuterie boards, and then
D-shaped board."
And then he has to every single day he's cutting D-shaped
hundreds
out of the back shed.
Well, check out our tip. We did a TikTok video of us. He did one where he's packing our order, and then we did when we unpacked it. So you can go and check us out.
It's really, really cool.
Cute.
Yeah, check it out. And what's the link for your social?
Oh, geez, you're really going to answer.
I'll put it in the show notes.
We'll put it in the notes, and it's online. There's links to all of our social.
If you just type in Fairvilla, it'll pop up.
At Fairvilla, you're going to find it all.
There you go.
So, So that's really cool. Something different, something new. And then, of course, I've got a lot of themed items going into 420. And we've brought in some new games, new gifts, and some new toys that are also themed around
Interesting how marijuana culture has, I didn't think it would explode further, and it has.
Yeah, I keep thinking, okay, the bubble's going to burst.
Sure.
No, there's more and more. And since we're talking about kind of random gifts and interesting things, our gift buyer, I thought this was hilarious.
Is that a dog toy?
It is a dog toy. It's a Puff Pals, and cute little shape.
These are super popular.
And it's like a Kong material. Yeah, it is absolutely.
Is this
It's a Kong bong.
It's a Kong bong.
Is this a fake Kong bong for my dog? And then the dog on it has a Rasta wig on.
Does it say?
Hold on.
Does it say Kong bong on?
No, this is Puff Pals.
I guess you can't
They
use
probably
the word
don't
Kong.
want.
You don't want to wake Big Kong.
No, they don't want that
lawsuit. This is called the
lawsuit.
Tug and Toke.
Okay.
Yep, we have two different style
These
toys.
are
I thought they're
great.
hilarious.
Oh, these are hilarious.
So
Better than giving, you see these people that blowing the smoke in your dog's face. Don't be doing that.
Yeah, don't be.
It's
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
I don't get your dog high. It's your dog. I don't care. I mean, you're not hurting it.
It's like we were talking about kids the other day.
Like, how long do dogs live anyway? It's fine. You take it. What's do good for your dog?
Get him that.
It's
More fun. You put a treat in it.
So how many
pretty cute.
different 420 themed or marijuana themed products do you have?
I
It's gotta
actually
be a
couldn't
lot.
even I had a whole box, huge box of
It
stuff,
would
and
be
there was
too much, right?
there's no way. I have apparel. And I just brought 2 pieces.
Yeah,
for,
Deborah
male
brings
and
this
female.
stuff by herself, guys. It's like she can't be bringing 75 pieces of marijuana fun.
And this was cool because obviously I had to bring something for the guys.
I like
A little-
those.
Yeah, right. Some little briefs that have the little leaf on the pouch.
Yeah, but they're sheer.
They're sheer fun, right?
Yeah, I like those. You see, this is like your This is like your speed.
Well, they're sheer except for the marijuana leaf.
But it
on
doesn't
the front.
show anything.
Yeah.
This is like dance wear almost. It's
Yeah.
like sheer on the sides, but it's
But
covering.
it's covered
you.
on the front.
Those are great.
And speaking of sheer, of course, because it's you, Daniel, I brought a body stocking.
I love a body
that
stocking.
has and it's just black, but it has the leaf
like a
print
marijuana
on
leaf
there.
all over it.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a body. Look
That's
at
my
that.
fantasy lingerie. Super
I
cool.
love a body stocking.
Yeah.
I like for my wife to look like a dolphin in a net. I'm like, oh, she's wounded. I'm coming to get you.
Now, I don't think I'd be ripping that one up. It's a lot of fashion on there. It's really nice.
Oh,
It's
this
got
one's
the
way
attached-
too fancy. It's
Yeah.
got like this, like a kind
The
of like
attached
a,
legs.
I don't even know what you call that, like an intricate back netting.
Yeah, it crisscrosses in the back, it laces up. It's really cool.
Where are you at with body stockings?
Well,
You vote yes on them, right?
Yeah, of
You
course
voted
I
yes
do.
on body
Yeah.
stockings? Where are you at, Sandy?
Who votes no on
Right.
body
Yeah,
I don't know of
yeah.
anybody.
It's like easy to wear. You don't have to worry so much on the sizing. It's just
and I
such
think
an easy
almost every
purchase.
body shape of a woman in a body, like I like every shape of woman in a stocking.
Yeah.
No problem. Every
Stock it up.
Yeah, stock it up. All right, sorry, we gotta stop talking about it. Moving on.
I know I've mentioned this before, but it's interesting that the marijuana leaf has become the tried and true symbol of marijuana. And there's never been, and I've only noticed this because in the beer industry, especially the craft beer industry, they've used the tiny hop as like a representation of like, hey, it's craft beer. Here's the hop, and the hop is very similar to the bud, which is actually closer to
their cousins.
What actually gets you high. So I'm surprised no one's ever just used a different version of the hop to represent a bud.
But it naturally worked out. It naturally worked out well. You know what literally taught me that, like, oh, this doesn't matter anymore, is I went to the Croc store to buy some gibbets for my daughter, and they were in the officially licensed Croc store.
And they had it.
They have the marijuana, the green marijuana leaf. And then I turned it around on the back, and it said Crocs 2022, and I'm like, oh, well, we're here. I mean,
if Crocs selling it, then we're there.
I mean, they got like
arrived.
baby shoes. They got all the different. They got all kinds of stuff in there. The officially licensed marijuana leaf Crocs. I'm like, okay, well, we're here.
And of course, if you're just looking for a little accent, a little pasty action, little jeweled pasties,
now these have cutouts.
They do.
Now, that almost defeats the purpose of the pasty, right? I mean, that's a naughty pasty.
Right, they're naughty.
That's a naughty pasty. Yeah. It's like,
naughty fun.
This leaf's got a nose.
Yeah. They cut out big nipple holes.
I would like to see you wearing those. I would like to see you wearing those.
No, my nipples are tiny.
My nipples is tiny. Why'd you say it like that?
I'm saying, like almost a whole areola nipple.
I think you can fit your whole nipple in there. How big are mine?
Yeah. No, that's time. That's the size.
The same size.
I think mine would fit right in the middle. I got too much hair on there, though.
Yeah, you'd be
I have to
waxed.
buzz myself down.
Yeah.
I've never seen them with the cutouts. I kind of like that.
And what else marijuana theme do we have?
Oh, let's see. Well, to wrap up our apparel side
Gotta
of
have a
things, of
bucket
course,
hat.
I brought you a bucket hat.
Gotta
and we
have a
have
bucket
it
hat.
with white, with green, and black with green. They're just fun, right?
There you go. Fun little
going
hat.
to a party. Sure.
Yeah, if you're going to there's a lot of 420 festivals, parties going around. So
Yep. And
if you get pulled over on that hat, you better have your card with you.
Don't have smoke everywhere. Oh my God.
Highly advised.
I have always told my friends, if you got any type of outfit you're wearing, you're like, hey, I made my entire outfit out of Coors Light cans. Just put it on when you get to the party. Don't wear it while you're driving, man. Don't be wearing that while you're driving.
It's a tell.
Just don't do it.
And 100%, it's a right tell. If you wear the weed bucket hat,
it's never been wrong.
You're high. You're high.
Never been wrong.
You like weed.
You're not going to catch my mom wearing that driving over there. Just going to church.
Probably not. I do have a Bong Appetit cookbook because, people are kind of experimenting.
I have that book.
You do have this book.
It's a great book.
All right.
It's a great book.
Awesome. And then a couple more gifts, which I thought were kind of cute that I haven't brought before. And we have pop pins. Because why not? They have fun sayings. You can sign your ticket with that when you get pulled over in your hat.
Oh, yeah. It's for medicinal purposes. And then I got high. It's cannabis, not cantabus. 420 somewhere. This is funny.
And perhaps my favorite thing that we have brought in this year is Stack the Joints, which is a Jenga knockoff, which is just stacking little wooden joints. And
that's hilarious.
Yeah, that would be a fun game.
That is cute.
I'll get that for my son.
I got you. Stack the
I was going to say you should get it for the AT&T.
You're right.
Idea.
Yeah.
We should purchase some of your games and put them in the AT&T.
That is a good idea.
That would be a perfect one.
Then we can show people where to get them.
Yeah. The Stack the Joint. Yeah, we can
It is
have
in our
that.
Sanford store.
This is funny.
We should. We need to do this.
Okay.
Well, I'll talk to you after the show because
all right.
we should get some things.
And then we put
have a closet.
You put a little paper on there telling
We
people.
have a closet.
There's nothing in there. We
Great
can put
selling point.
we can put a bunch of things in
AT&T,
there.
we got a closet.
Put that in the description.
Can I complain a little bit about
wait a minute,
Don't be negative.
Wait a minute. You've been doing a lot of complaining, and some people have said
I
it's
know.
changed their listening habits.
Yeah, I know. It's not even complaining. I'm just making an observation.
Oh, okay. Is it a negative observation?
That's all the complaints.
Did I get you?
I'll move on then.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
Okay,
we gotta
so
know.
with the marijuana cookbooks, right?
Yeah.
So
Andrea got me that book, actually.
now I don't know. They all may be different, but what I've noticed is a lot of them have just the regular, recipes for different things, and then they're like, well, instead of butter, add marijuana infused butter.
Can of butter.
Can of butter, and then it's like, well, then I feel like it's kind of cheating.
No,
like,
it shows you how to make make can of butter in there.
Yeah, no, I know. But then once you make can of butter, then it's just a regular cookbook with just can of butter with everything. Where it's just like, can't you just drop like pure THC? That's essentially what you're coating THC. You're making a meatball, then drop a THC.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Like the tincture?
Yeah, tincture on it. There's like, now you got a THC meatball. It's like, all right, well,
I don't
can't
think
you just do that with everything?
No, I don't think it's like that. No.
Because I like where it actually, like you were actually working with the actual marijuana bud and then a leaf or something like that.
Well, the idea is to try and like make it so A, you don't really taste it, right?
Yeah.
And B, so you actually end up making something that, like, the idea of cooking wouldn't be so you're cooking something and then taste it and be like, this tastes terrible.
Yeah.
You want it to be a mixture of both, which is, I think, why you need the cookbook. It's kind of hard to do both.
It's true. It's hard to infuse it in without.
I will say I've only made a few things from the book, and the only thing that really worked was the fettuccine Alfredo because of the high concentration of butter. That was too much.
You went a little over the top.
Dusted my D. I mean, blew my face off. I did it at my old house. I cooked the marijuana. I lightly toasted the marijuana on like the stove. And then you had to add the butter to it, and then you strain it, and you make the can of butter, and you put it in the fridge, and then we made the fettuccine Alfredo too much.
Well, I'm just like, you look at the recipe, and then you're like, oh, this looks really hard. How about I just 3 drops of tincture into my mouth, and then Wawa sub? Hey, same effect.
Everybody's different.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, but I see what you're saying.
Some people want the challenge.
It's hard. It's hard to do, and that's why the cookbook is actually useful. What is that?
Okay, so I brought some Maya toys, and I've brought them before, but they've released more items. Maya has a whole
Euro toys,
a whole line of 420. So this is a new little bullet that they've released. It's a corded bullet, but it's all rechargeable. So you know how most of the time when you see a remote, you're like, oh man, I'm gonna have to find batteries.
Yeah.
Nope, not on this one. It's actually rechargeable, and it's super strong, and it's got a really soft coat on it. It's just a fun bullet.
Oh, this is cool.
It has big vibration.
I like it because it's harder to lose. I've had some problems with tiny bullets.
And just you're a bulletman.
And then
you're thinking the same thing I am.
Okay.
No. I'm just saying there was an incident. I've said this before on maybe when Deborah's here, where this was back when we had the nanny live with us, where all of a sudden next to Crystal's toothbrush
this
is
thing
a
goes.
Silver bullet because she didn't understand what it was. It was laying around. No, I was just saying it's a tiny, stainless steel bullet.
Not Andrea. Andrea got the big ones. It looks like a shell casing of an A10 Warthog. Big one. It's like, what is that? What are you guys digging up tile? I'm like, no, that's hers.
Well, I can't turn this off. Why can't I turn
you know what? Deborah looked away from me when I made that.
I had a lot of problem with bullets.
Just hold that button down for about 3 to 5 seconds.
Did you fix it? Okay.
And then I have the Marley, which is their wand.
Oh, the Marley.
And it's what I like about it.
It's Bob, not Jacob.
Yeah.
Jacob's an old ghost.
One button. So simple.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, man, yeah. And this is light.
Very light. All silicone. Really easy to clean. Waterproof.
My God.
Deborah, is vibration
looks like a microphone?
The industry standard?
We'll be back. Hold on.
No, I know.
I'll be back to pick you girls up later, Mr. Microphone.
Vibration seems like the industry standard that everybody's landed on with that works the best. I know.
Last time she was here, it was all about the gentle,
the action,
the like lapping technology.
Yeah. There's that one, and then there's the air one.
Pressures.
The air pressures, and it seems like that's creeping in some different toys, maybe the more sophisticated ones. Is there anything else that I guess there's like certain things work a certain way?
I was going to ask you, but and I figured that for a hot minute, I bet this burned hot, but I bet you can give us the no BS answer on this. Where are we at with VR? Because I would imagine that when you go to these trade shows and you're going around to the hundreds of different vendors that you guys have been friends with for now 50 years. It's not doing. I think everybody.
It's really not that big a thing.
It's not a big thing, is it?
It's truly not. I think that the app technology and the proliferation of toys that now have connectivity and app-enabled technology, that is big. It is bigger than than I thought it would be. So yeah, I mean, there are Lovin's is a line of product, and that's what they have made all their products with. They have a superior app. They really hit a home run during COVID, and everything that we're releasing, everything from a lipstick-looking vibe to an egg-shaped vibe.
It's all app-enabled?
All app-enabled.
Wow.
And so you're seeing a lot of that technology on the market.
I think you and I, like, because we're dumb old men, thought that I wanted the VR goggles. I put it on, then I put on the VR waistband, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I'm loaded, and I'm ready to go.
Now,
and I hit the button, and I go to a fantasy world.
It is there. I mean, certainly there is some companies out there working with that, but it's just not really taken off the way I thought it might.
Now, I will say that the other day...
Like a senator. The senator from Castleberry now has the vote. Well, I will now say, without a shadow of a doubt, I declare. I was like, what is happening?
No, that I have recently... I was like, let me give this another shot with the VR. And with the Crystal and the boys out of the house or whatever. And then I put it on, and then I have to make I have to hide in the
Nest.
And then I started searching, and then they've got a lot of options.
Yeah, they really do.
And then all of a sudden, I was transformed into this one scene, right? I mean, you're in the room, you're like, oh my God. And then the girls come up to you, and then this particular one, the girl's boyfriend was playing VR on the couch.
Oh, I've seen this one.
I've seen this one.
I knew you knew.
I've seen all of them.
And then she's like, oh, well, my boyfriend's distracted. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm cheating on my wife.
He's like, he's going to see us.
She's looking at me in the eyes, and then you're looking around and you see, and they're like, I'm not.
If you did watch this one, is this the one where occasionally he'll make a noise and she'll be like,
Yeah,
okay. Well, I have seen it.
And then once you introduce the threat of the boyfriend waking up from, or I don't know, it's like, or like taking off his
taking
VR.
off his VR.
But I'm also like, he could hear. Like,
what if I'm in there enjoying it, the dude takes his goggles off, and then I feel an arm on my throat. He walks over, he's beating
Anyway,
it's going to be like you're in a zombie.
I know, it's going to be
right?
crazy.
I was like this because it was like you are, she's looking at you in the eye. You're like, I'm cheating. You're looking at it, and then there's another guy in here.
I knew it was wrong, Deborah, when I looked down and I saw the male model, like him there, and I'm like, well, that's not right.
Way thinner.
Like,
Get some fatzos in there.
Yeah, they don't have any fatzos.
Yeah. Like, look, know your audience. You're fools.
They don't know their audience. It looks down like guy's got abs. I can see when you look down in the VR goggles.
Lost you on the realism there, huh?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, well.
All right, what else you got here?
A couple more items from...
Oh, wow. That is fancy.
This is fancy. It's got the cute little pot leaf for the external arm. There is a motor here and internally. And what's nice is you can actually bend it.
It's moldable.
To, fit your body. And so...
Look at that guy.
So there you go. That's called the Maui, and that is by the same company, Maya. And they all have 1-year warranties, by the way. Also,
you're welcome. This is the Maui. You're welcome. See what I did there?
So, what does something like this cost, Deborah? Because this is a higher end, right?
It's $90.
Okay, yeah. Because this thing will last forever.
I mean, it's super nice. Yeah. It's like metal and then like high tech. What is that? Silicone?
It's a high grade medical silicone.
Yeah, it's just like, but everything on it is like the buttons on it feel nicer than my iPhone. Like, it's crazy that they were able to do that.
So, Deborah, I'm sure you've talked to customers before that have had stuff they bought from Fairvilla for more than decades? Because
I still have all my stuff. The costumes, I still have any type of intimate devices I've ordered. I mean, they're going to outlast you.
I think people tend to kind of just lose interest in their item before they break. Yeah. Sometimes they're like, okay, I did that. Now I'm ready to move on. Let's go try something new.
Sure.
So as long as you take care of them, clean them, store them properly,
I mount mine.
Literally last.
I mount mine on the wall.
You mount them
like when you're done with an old gun.
Busey and his machine guns.
Yeah, flamethrower. Put a flamethrower on the wall.
All right, so this is the latest. We just got it in last week. It's the Vaporator. Yep, it's
Vaporator.
So a smokable vibe basically.
What?
So yeah. So this
Finally, we woke Samantha up. She's like,
she's here.
Hey,
A vaporator.
Vaporator.
Sam's like, what?
Well, you gone too far now.
Okay.
Too far.
Dude, not far
You
enough.
cannot use it. It does not vibrate if you're using it to smoke with, right? So it holds a cartridge. So you provide the cartridge, and it will.
We got a cartridge right there.
Yeah.
Put that Delta 9 on there. Let's all put it in my butt.
You just unscrew this portion of it, screw in the cartridge.
It runs like a 518 thread for.
Yeah, and so
Okay, you're gonna sell a lot of those, man.
And rechargeable, and then let's say and so it has 3 different heat settings.
Oh
on
my
the top.
God! Regular batteries don't even have heat settings. You just this is cool.
Okay, and if you want to start the vibe, all I did was the bottom button, held it down for a few seconds, and
I'm interested in this. I'm interested in this, and this thing's going, man.
Listen,
it's under $60.
That
Literally.
what a cool gift.
It's
this
50,
one's neat.
55.
This is really neat.
if I'm sitting at the in the patio of Qdoba and then after I eat my lunch and then I pull that thing out to start vaping it,
Nobody's going to know that.
No, but
unless they have one.
You know what I like about this is that it's rechargeable, and it's the coolest thing about this is that I think you're going to get a lot more battery. You know what I mean?
No, for the vaping part of it.
Yeah.
Like this thing's high octane. I can't turn it off. I'm trying to turn it off.
Hold it for maybe 3
You guys
seconds.
have a lot of issues with
I don't
turning
even
things
know
off.
because it's so new.
I have a hard time turning things
you
off.
might have
Sam. Most
to
of the time, I'm
just
turning things
run
off.
through the functions. That would work too.
Yeah, look at that. That is so cool.
I wonder if this was the owner's idea or if they actually were like, hey, you know what, this is something we need. The people are requesting the vaporator.
I think that this is definitely is one you'll sell a lot of. Yeah. I just think because it's such a fun novelty of hey, and because if you have like a cartridge in it, no one will know what that is. No one will know. No one's going to guess that it is a personal massager.
Apparently, we can't turn it off.
Do you smoke from the tip?
No, it goes to the other side.
Yeah, you got to unscrew that, the top.
That screws in. That part screws into that.
Where do you smoke at?
Unscrew that. Unscrew that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, unscrew that.
Try the tip. There you go.
Into that.
Okay.
And you smoke out of that.
Oh, you smoke this way. Oh, okay.
You're supposed to go.
All right.
Oh, God.
He finally got it, Dad.
Okay.
I didn't mean to call you Dad.
That's
I'm getting casual. Jimmy used to do that with people. You get casual with people, then you're like,
Your name gets shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my pick of the week.
Yeah.
That's going to save that towards last. Of course, we still have all the cool roast and toast. We even did a little Fibula name drop on one of them. But
you have one?
I brought the mermaid right there.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Nice.
I brought a mermaid one too because I always bring the really crazy funny ones. I thought a mermaid would be
I think a lot of our guys wouldn't mind, since a lot of them, you're the only place that they know where to find these, might want to have a Fairvilla one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's another one we might want to have on the air too.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we can make that happen
and
for
let's
you.
just stack the joints.
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah. So that's just a small sampling.
Wow.
Tons of more games, really easy games, fun card games, apparel, all that. The trays.
You didn't even get to do half of the other lingerie and the just regular pajamas,
incense, all those cool things that we carry, and every store has those. So go check it out.
Yep, multiple locations. Go to fairvilla.com, but of course the OBT location, the New Sanford location, location on the coast, location in Secrets Hideaway in Kissimmee, location on iDrive.
And if they don't have it at the location you're at, I'm sure that they can make it happen. They'll
talk to the store manager and see what we can do for you.
Yeah, they'll find it for you.
Deborah, thanks so much for coming by. We appreciate
Good to see
it.
you guys.
Good seeing you too, and we'll take a quick break and come back with more A Corporate Time. It is another A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan, and welcome to it, everybody.
I am Tom Van.
I am Dan Dennis.
Yeah, and that's Samantha.
Over there.
Har.
Why'd you say my last name like that?
Samantha Har.
That's your last name, right?
Yeah, but
but you said it so aggressively.
I threw us that. You know what? I blame myself. That's my fault, because normally I say it's another A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan, but I didn't do that. I said it's another Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. Welcome to it. And he goes, oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to just go through the motions.
All right. Then I'll start over. It's another Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom.
Samantha, our producer's over here. We have a guest on the line, but before we do our guest, let's plug some stuff. That's what I normally say every time, right?
Orlando Science Center's $12 Day is April 16th coming up. So if you haven't been to the Science Center, use $12 Day as your opportunity to take your family.
Half off.
I'm telling you, it's a resource that a lot of people don't. Like, I'm so glad that your wife, back when we first started having kids, started telling us about,
so good.
Go to the Science Center, bring the kids, and they've loved it every single time.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of fun, interactive things for the kids to do. Exhibits for not only for children but for adults as well. They're always rotating the exhibits. They're putting a new animal encounters area right now that I know they're working on.
Here's what I like about the Science Center is that you can let your kids play around in a room, and you could sit and scroll through your iPhone.
Yeah, they can't run away.
There's benches, and then they play, and then when they get bored of this room, which takes a while,
it's the scrolling center.
Then you just go to the next room, sit on a bench, and then they play with a new set of amazing things.
Yeah, scarves flying through the air, oranges flying everywhere.
Do that I call
planetarium,
it a jungle gym area, but the green gym area.
I don't even know what to call that. It's like an indoor climbing frame, but the thing is.
It's fancier than McDonald's.
Yeah. Write that down.
That's a ringing endorsement.
Write that down to tell Jeff. He's going to want that. He's probably going to want to do shirts now. He's probably going to want to do shirts. Are you ready to do the thing?
Okay.
All right, hold on. Let me get the song. I started to write a new Weird Job Wednesday theme song, right? Like, I do the variations of it. Yep. And I figured out now how to use ChatGPT to input a song and then say, hey, just throw some farts and make this about fat slobs. And it'll go, okay. And it just does it. It's so great. But I did get a chance to finish. I was doing Miley Cyrus Flowers. And it was like, I can work a weird. And I was going to sing it like, we will go, we will go. You know, I'm going to sing it like that, like rough, like a smoky voice.
I'm
going to get her
She's
good.
got that smoky voice.
I love it. It sounds like a Black and Decker Pecker record. Hold on, what? I don't know. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. With a Black and Decker Packer. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. With a Black and Decker Packer. Yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday.
No, go. It's not a listener. We can't. Come on.
Slam out.
You knew it.
Think.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Black and Decker Packer.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by Stream.
Oh, no, you've done it.
FirehousePressureWashing.com. Also, Streamline, Florida. Is this a Malta?
Where'd he come from?
Too many sponsors. That guy is right. Nancy's on the line. How you doing, Nancy?
Doing pretty good. How you guys doing today?
Well,
good.
As you can tell, we're having a bit of a Tuesday, Nancy. Thank you so much for being on the line.
Weird Job Wednesday.
Yeah. We're having a bit of a Wednesday, Nancy. Sorry, a Tuesday, Wednesday. What is your weird job?
I am an air traffic controller.
All right.
All
now,
right.
I'm glad we're talking to a real air traffic controller, not just a video game air traffic controller, because that's what we had before.
We did. We had a video game
and
guy.
I couldn't even ask him serious questions.
You were mad at him the whole time.
Because I was like, oh, this isn't real.
Yeah, they might as well be American Girl dolls.
Nancy has lives on the line.
Yeah.
And so, Nancy, first, what's the education or the training to become an air traffic controller?
There's a couple ways to get into the job. If you are going through the civil route, you just be a U.S. citizen. There's age restrictions. I can go into detail about that. But as far as different backgrounds, you can get this job without a college degree, but a specialized college degree does help. You just need to have 3 years of continuous work experience prior.
Wow.
I think that's more so just to get the age requirements. So someone off the street can do the job, but at the same time, like I said, there's accredited colleges that you can get out with an air traffic control degree, which helps you get in. Or a lot of people go the military route. That's another way to get in.
Was it for you? Which direction did you go, and did you? Did you go military route? Did you just see this one day and go like, oh, wow, this is something I'm truly interested in that I love, or?
No, I went to college to be a veterinarian. I kind of missed that mark. But I did get out with a 4-year degree and realized that's not the job that was going to be right for me.
Hey, man, some people say you're still working with birds. Am I right?
Yeah, I do that, too.
No, birds in the sky is a plane. Let's talk about planes. Let's talk about planes.
Oh, yeah, well, those. Yeah,
work with the big birds. Big bird in the sky.
Very big birds, little birds, all of them. So I went the college route, and so I had the degree, though it had nothing to do with aviation. And when I got out of school, I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew I was interested in aviation, and I wanted to fly, actually. My father was a Navy pilot and also a career airline pilot, and I actually talked to the military about possibly getting in the military for a flying position. Pursued that for a little while, but back at the time that I was looking, which was back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, they weren't really putting women in flying positions in the military. I mean, it would be cargo if it was anything. Not that that was going to be a bad thing. But even so, even if I did have a 4.0 out of college, it wasn't a guarantee that I was going to get a flying slot. So I wasn't really sure that that would be the option to go.
Yeah.
So my dad suggested, he says, what about air traffic control? And I'm like, what's that about? So he lived up in New York on Long Island.
Yeah.
And he was based out of Kennedy, and he took me over to the New York Tracon one day just to go in and look around and meet some people. And it was pretty awesome because we walk in this big, huge, dark room, and it looked like everybody was sitting around playing video games. I was like, hey, I can do this.
Wow.
Well, Nancy.
So Dad came up with an idea. Dad brings you there so you can almost shadow some people. You're checking this out. That's a cool dad.
So, Nancy,
Yeah.
It's interesting because since you are a pilot, it seems like air traffic control is almost on the opposite side of the motivation for if you're motivated to be a pilot, in my mind, you're a little bit
freedom.
Like you want to, the freedom of it, there's a risk, right? There's like an adventure part of it, and then the air traffic control. It seems
there's
like
risk and adventure, but it's more in your brain and affecting other people.
But it's all very analytical, and like you said, you're sitting behind a computer screen and you're locked in, and you have people's lives on the line. But it's a lot more analytical and less free as opposed to like being a pilot. But pilots are a lot like they're just by the book, each step by step. So I don't know. Is it similar?
It's similar in a way, though vastly different because you're on opposite sides of the radio, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everything over the years that I've been involved with this, so it's been, I'm at 32 years now I've been doing this. Everything is very, very regulated and very, very structured. And there's been considerable rules that have come out over the years that the pilots are as regulated as we are, as far as, procedure, I guess.
Right.
Best way to define it. The flying aspect of it is pretty cool. I have several friends that are pilots. Some friends do it for fun. A lot of them do it for a job. I've talked to them about it because, for several years after getting an ATC, I always felt like I ended up on the wrong side of the radio. But, in the end, the way it worked out good. I mean, some people that that I know that fly are single or they have no kids, and they're fine with being gone 5 to 7 days in a row and then coming back for 3 or 4.
Right.
Some people have families. I have a good girlfriend that flew for an airline, and she was a single mother and raising kids, and she managed to work it out that she would, fly during the day, and then she was home every night. So, I mean, there's ways to do it. I mean, granted, with us, with ATC, we really don't go far, and I do come home and sleep in my bed every night, or unless it was a midnight shift.
Can you describe, so you've got your schooling done, and you went to school for it, and you shadowed, and you saw it. Can you describe what's it feel like that first time that they kind of, and for lack of a better explanation in my mind, they kind of turn the screens over to you or turn the airspace over to you? What's that like?
Actually, I remember when my first facility, I was at New Orleans Moisant, was the first place I was.
Okay.
I ended up, well, to back up a little bit, when you come out of the academy after your training, again, at the time that I went through, things are a lot different now, but you either went the tower option, where you'd be at the airports, or you went the center option, which was you'd be in the big facility like what I saw the day my dad took me in. So I was at an airport. I was over at New Orleans Moisant, and you get there and you go through 2 to 3 weeks of classroom training where you're just downstairs and you're studying and you're writing maps and you're learning frequencies. And then you finally get to go upstairs, and the first steps you do in the tower is you start reading clearances, where you put a headset on and a pilot will call you for his clearance from point A to point B, and you just read it and he reads it back. And it's basically like the secretary position in the tower, if for lack of a better way to describe it. So you certify on that position first, and you you gain responsibility on your progressively.
Gotcha. Like a kitchen. It's like you see sous chefs. They put you on the veg station, right, until you get steaming the broccoli. Mm-hmm. And once you got that down,
it takes you a while to move up.
Yeah, we'll move you over to proteins.
So, Nancy, I'm curious because I think all of us have this misconception of what air traffic controllers actually do, because we all see the movies, we understand that they're talking to pilots and helping them land or take off and then organize the runway, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're like, okay, but then what, first, can a computer do this? Do they need humans to do this? Are there computer backups that will, if you make a mistake, they will stop the planes from crashing into each other? You know what I'm saying?
What redundancy systems?
Is it
something that would help?
Is it solely if you make a mistake, is it life or death, or are there a bunch of redundancy and stuff that prevents?
Because I would want the system.
Explain that.
There is, and over the years they've added more. There's more backup. There's more backup redundancy. As say if I'm working a position and I'm talking to 2 different airplanes, and like I said, I'm in the tower option, so I'm actually looking out the window. Say if I'm watching airplanes in my traffic pattern, and 2 of them start to get closer than what we have required separation limits. The computer itself kind of tracks the direction and speed of each aircraft, and if it detects that there's a chance that those 2 aircraft will get closer or be a conflict for each other, there is an audible alarm that goes off. Also, pilots have eyes, and we were talking about having.
I don't ever want my pilot. No. I don't ever want my pilot to use his eyes. I don't ever want him to be. Oh my God! He turns and
actually, in the end. But what I was getting to is, in the end, you can't take the human factor out of it. In the end, say if I'm looking at 2 airplanes that could possibly be a conflict for each other, I call traffic. I'll tell them. I said, basically in ATC lingo, I say, do you see that guy over there? And he'll come back and say, yeah, I see him. And then my words are basically, well, don't hit him. So
they do that in just so you know, Tom, they do that in my Microsoft Flight Simulator. They will make you give a visual contact. You have to they'll say, "Oh, here are the coordinates. It's off to your right. Do you see it?" and you have to write back to them, yes, I see it. Like I have visual contact on it, so I'm not going to kill everybody on the plane.
So, Nancy,
which is kind of weird.
It seems like, and
don't put that through the speaker that I can hear when I'm sitting in the back having a gin and tonic. I don't want to hear that.
You may know about this, obviously, but it seems like the system must be pretty good because in all my time, I've never heard of some sort of airline accident caused by an air traffic controller. You know, like as far as like. You know, we've all seen air tragedies and things.
And missing flights.
Yeah, but it's never been the fault.
And we've all seen Harrison Ford go the wrong way on the runway, dumb old man. Oh, so funny, so funny. Well, there he goes with his earring. I can see your dangler, Harrison Ford.
I've never heard of any sort of tragedy being caused by an accident from the air traffic controlling side.
Yeah, has that ever happened before?
You know... I would say, you know, well, like I said, with the advancements that they have, that we have, you know, collision avoidance alarms, that if a controller was busy and focusing on several different airplanes and had his attention on one area of his radar scope and something's coming together on another, you do get the oral alarm that will call your attention back, and then you just call the traffic because, like I said, if these aircraft do get closer than the required separation minima and the alarm goes off and then the controller calls traffic, hopefully, again, the final step in this is that the pilots see each other. You know, that's so no, it doesn't happen often at all. And you know, it's funny, the personality type, it seems that seems to be drawn to this kind of job. I mean, you got to kind of have a thick skin because they're jokesters and everything. But, you know, every controller that I've known through my career, when it starts getting busy, it's, you know, everybody's full attention. I mean, everybody takes their job very seriously, and you have to.
So, Nancy, is there some sort of, like, psych tests or something that the air traffic controllers have to go through to make sure...
Mentally sound.
They're mentally sound, and also that they
no
can
psychopaths allowed.
Like, for instance, this would be a horrible job for me because I'd be looking at the screen...
I feel like you'd panic a lot.
And, well, not only panic, but
first of all, you need to find his glasses.
Oh, yeah, that's...
Step one, find your glasses.
I daydream a lot, and then...
Oh, my God.
I'll look at... Daniel will catch me, I'll just be looking at the Wachovia bank screen, and then I won't even be looking at anything.
The number's not changing, bro. It's still going down.
But he doesn't realize I'm up in my head thinking about so many
He's running through a field of flowers. I don't know. He's twirling. He's like Ferdinand the Bull. He's twirling through the flowers.
And then, so I daydream a lot, and then I'll get distracted.
He's up there on the mountain with a Van Trapp family singing the songs.
I'll think about some business idea, or so I'll go to some event idea.
And that's why I always go, and Sam, you'll hear me when I say this. I'll be like, hey, you all right, buddy? And he'll be like, oh, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, you snap me out of it.
Yeah, I snap you off the mountain with a Van Trapp.
So, have you ever seen, Nancy, someone that's like me that daydreams, and you're like, snap out of it. You're like, oh, God.
Pay attention.
Yeah, like...
I feel like he'd get fired.
I don't know. I mean,
well, you know, it's funny. There's an ATC meme going around. I've seen the picture of it, and it says, you know, my teacher once told me years ago that I'd never make it anywhere looking out of a window. Well, that's what we do.
That's a good mom joke. That's a solid mom joke.
There's a dirt mom joke.
I like that. That is good.
So, but you know, it's just kind of as per your first question. Yeah, like I said, it was much different when I got in than it is now as far as the requirements. I say required. The process to get in is different. But one thing that has carried through is you do take an aptitude test. Back when I got in, at the time, you just took a government civil service exam. And that test, all it was aptitude testing. I didn't have to know anything about air traffic control.
Nancy, I will tell you, though, that when I hear the word aptitude test, and I think dumb people have ruined this for us, because aptitude test, if somebody said, oh, you have to take an aptitude test, I'll be like, I got that in the bag. That's for dumb people. Like the aptitude test is for your A1 bullet stoppers, right? That's like, is this guy breathing? Write your name. Aptitude.
Okay, yeah.
aptitude.
Can he spell?
When I hear aptitude test, I'm like, put your cigarette out, and straighten your shirt, and go inside and fill out your aptitude test. You're a horrible person. You're a dum-dum.
Do you know your telephone number?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you dress yourself?
Yeah. Do you have an emergency contact?
Yeah.
How's your aptitude?
Well, I see where you're going on that. The test was just primarily like you're looking at one of the things we had to do, and I know this sounds crazy, is, okay, there's 26 letters in the alphabet, and say you know what corresponding number each letter is in the alphabet, and it'll give you a sequence of letters. It'll give you you
got to do the code. You got to work.
Yeah, you got to get a sequence of letters, and you have to pick what the next letters are. And basically, if you know the numbers, you can figure that out.
Oh, I crushed that.
Gives you.
That's Captain Crunch decoder ring type stuff.
If you have one of those, it does help. Or something like you're looking at 3D objects printed on a piece of paper, and it gives you choices to pick which one fits. It just basically, does your brain, are you able to see a three-dimensional picture looking at a two-dimensional object, which is exactly what working a radar scope is.
I think
Hold on. It's that thing where you blur your eyes and all of a sudden the choo-choo train comes up.
Oh, it's a sailboat. I got a sailboat.
I've done that when I was in fifth grade.
Yeah. You take the poster. It's the two dots at the bottom. You got to make them become one. And then you look up and you're like, oh, choo-choo.
So, that's all.
Sailboat.
You see the sailboat?
I can do the aptitude, man.
So, Nancy, I feel like a lot of air traffic controller, or a good portion of it, is the cadence of the call letters of each plane and learning how to speak back and forth to the pilots, because anytime you hear...
That's the part you couldn't do.
That takes practice, right?
Yeah.
It's like... So,
it's smooth talking.
Nancy, could you give us a little bit of... Because...
Jargon?
Am I correct where, like, everybody... You guys have a cadence, you speak with each other, and the pilots and you talk with this weird... song and dance,
like a specific cadence.
Yeah. It's something everybody does the same thing, right, Nancy?
Yeah, all the phraseology is pretty much all canned. It's all canned phraseology.
Phraseology.
And you
Isn't
learn
that the name of your boy band?
from the pilot side and also the controller side, there's ways they teach you to say what you want to say, but in also saying that. If we get a lot of times where it's hard to understand because we get people, pilots coming from different countries coming here, and a lot of times if you can't get the message across in ATC speak, you would just key up and just speak normal, because everything's done by the phonetic alphabet. And I've read clearances to guys where I spell out, the name of an intersection, which will be 5 letters long, and they just don't get it. So I just come back and say it's, regular alphabet. So yes, there is a canned phraseology, but then at the same time, if they don't understand or you're not getting your point across, just say it.
Yeah, just say it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
How often do you ever encounter a amateur pilot that you're like, wow,
I don't know what I'm doing up here.
Well, you're just like,
hey, lady, you gotta help.
Like, I wonder, from doing it so long, Nancy, that have you seen any I guess, degradation of the training.
You think everybody up there is a bunch of idiots?
No. I'm just saying, there used to be a time where everybody was really trained, and now they're like, oh, we need this pilot.
Kind of like you and your scuba certification. You got a bunch of PADI graduates flying around.
Like, if I'm underwater with you, you'd be surprised how little I know about the water.
Yeah. I say how much air do you have? You just point to your computer. You're like, it's in there. It's in there.
The computer turns off, I'm like dead. Immediately.
I am the computer, ChatGPT. You've become one with the computer.
So have you noticed any of that where some pilots are like, man, this person is a greenhorn and doesn't know what he's doing?
A degradation over time, no, I wouldn't say that. It's more a factor of where you work. Like here in Florida, I finished my career with the FAA. I was working at Orlando, the Orlando International.
Oh, nice.
In the tower there. And, we deal with professional pilots, these airline pilots coming from all over the world. And those guys are very professional and on top of things. Now, I retired from the FAA, and I'm now working for a contractor providing services at a contract tower. I'm over in Kissimmee now. And there's 3 or 4 flight schools, and, we have pilots, instructors and students coming out, and these people have never flown an airplane or talked on a radio in their life. And yeah, sure, there's a difference. Because I'm working in a learning environment now, where the majority of our traffic that we talk to is people just coming out and learning how to fly.
Is that frustrating?
Job in aviation.
Is that frustrating at all? Does it make it so you as a controller have to maybe work harder, hold their hand a little bit more, or is it not like that?
It has its moments. But at the same time, me being a pilot myself, I also fly out of that field too. I know what it was like to be, I've been on the other side of the radio, so I know what it's like that, the first time I was in a small airplane was 3 years after I started doing this job, and I remember being amazed, just going around the pattern with the instructor. I'm like, holy crap, they're really doing more than just sitting up here waiting for me to talk to them. So,
there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. And then we get, like I was saying, it's mostly... It's mostly students, but we have, corporate pilots that fly in there, and we have military aircraft that fly in.
Have you ever been in control of the airspace when somebody famous, like I had mentioned Harrison Ford earlier, you ever had like somebody famous?
John Travolta.
Yeah, like
Air Force One.
Yeah, because a lot of these guys, they like to do their own flying. Have you ever had a chance to do any of that?
Or one Moses DeWitt?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a time... several years back, a couple times. I think I talked to Jimmy Buffett in his airplane.
Hey, man, just going to get some margaritas.
Did he talk like Buffett?
Also,
do you know where we are? We made it. We're in Margaritaville. Blew out my flip-flop.
Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise was training.
I know what he sounded like. He's like, why did you do that?
Yeah. So he was flying out of a warbird operation out of Kissimmee, and he had his airplane there. And I guess he was
Tom Cruise always flying out with a warbird. Well, just go at for
I guess that was
sake.
for his last movie, the
Maverick.
The second Top Gun movie.
Yeah, Maverick. Yeah, that's a good movie.
So, Nancy, I imagine you can't just
UFOs. Ask her about UFOs.
Well, okay. Well, there's
you ever seen a UFO?
Nope, they got her.
Oh, they
got her.
Vaporized.
Not that I would know for sure. Now, we do get phone calls for UFOs. We have people call the tower for UFOs all the time.
What are they?
Call the tower. You have any UFOs there?
I would even
better go catch it.
I'm not even joking. If you paid me $1,000, find the number for the air traffic control tower.
You can never do it
in 10 minutes. I will never. I guess you Google everything now. So Nancy, I'm curious. You can't just leave your post. But what if someone doesn't show up, got sick or got in an accident, doesn't show up to work to relieve you from your post?
They shut down the airport.
Have you ever had to stay there for hours because of something?
Legally, you can't.
Yeah, how does that work?
Well, when I was in the FAA, we had enough staffing that we did rotation, so you were really never on position more than an hour and a half, 2 hours without being afforded a break because there was enough people. Now working with the contractor, it's a little bit different, that they'll have 2 people at the beginning of the shift and 2 at the end, and there's 2 positions. So, if someone doesn't make it in, you gotta stay. We do have rules in effect that we're not supposed to be on position more than, we're not supposed to work more than 10 hours in a day or more than 6 days in a row without a break.
Now, do you, while you're...
A little more than 10 hours.
Now, are you drug tested or anything to make sure that you're not visiting old Shan Latte before you, fly the plane?
Yes, we do get random drug and alcohol testing.
Alcohol testing?
What?
Yeah, drug or alcohol testing.
So you're not allowed to drink, or do they have to find like, okay,
no? Can you believe it? No, they don't let us drink on position, unfortunately.
Well,
but,
not on position, but like if you come in the next day and you smell like, I don't know, 1,000 land sharks because you're out on a boat. I'm trying to tie it into Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
I've had, the night before I have 12 land sharks because I'm shooting basketball in Tom's jacuzzi playing the 3-point hot tub game, and I come in. Am I not allowed to work because I'm hungover?
Technically, you shouldn't. Yeah, well, the ruling is less than within 8 hours of your assigned shift, you're not supposed to be.
That's good. That's a good rule. Yeah, I agree with that rule.
Yeah.
Nancy, how much like mental focus and brain?
Are you trying to find out if you can do this?
No. Well, because,
I don't have any interest in doing something that's difficult.
Because there's lots of jobs, and Nancy knows that
she may not.
There's lots of jobs. That require.
I don't know.
Almost zero brain activity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to.
One of them is this one.
Zone out,
one of them is this one.
No, this one we have to be
I
engaged.
was daydreaming a little bit just now.
But I'm saying, like I feel like a lot of jobs, people daydream and just are checked out all day long and
like bus deckers do jobs.
Barely even thinking. And then this job, you have to be laser focused, and you are constantly not only paying attention to every second,
you're
communicating, and so you are locked in. So that kind of focus, you can only, like you said, there's a reason why there's 2 hours max you can do it.
Legally, you can't do more than that.
But over a 10, like say you do 2 hours, take a break,
well, it's
2
just
hours.
Like truckers. Truckers can't do it either.
Well, truckers, you could date. You just drive.
I hope not.
Truckers versus
your feet are diabetes.
Let's do like air traffic control versus truckers.
Oh, dude, truckers are zoned out. Great air traffic controller. You are because it's a trucker. Most of the time you're just driving. So
hey man, there's a Buc-ee's over there.
You're thinking.
That's what Tom thinks of you.
No.
Truckers.
No. I'm just saying you're on the.
Where's the Buc-ee's?
No.
I'm a big fat club.
No, I'm just saying you can zone out.
I'm gonna get me some beef jerky.
Everybody knows how you drive, and then you forget how you got there because you zoned out. It's easy. It's a second nature.
Spitting on America's backbone.
No, I'm just saying you
Soul
can.
Brother Kevin's going to get you.
I know he will.
You're not zoned in on planes and communicating them back and forth and
Gotta
checking.
be zoned in on them lanes.
No,
you know what I mean?
you're just you're daydreaming. Look at this, Nancy. It's an insult comparing you to truckers. Truckers aren't paying attention that. I mean, yes, they're shifting gears, but once you're on the highway, you're zoning out. You're listening to talk radio. They listen to us. Nancy's not listening to talk radio.
God, you have a vein right here, man.
Wait, Nancy, you can't listen to music or talk radio and do your job.
He's got a big attorney vein in his forehead now.
We haven't even gotten into her hobby.
Yeah, okay, let's pivot.
Well, I gotta ask about money.
Okay,
yeah. What can a small airport to medium airport air traffic controller woman make doing standard air traffic controlling?
The median annual wage for an air traffic controller, I looked this up, in 2021 was in the low to mid 130s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you should be making that. Yeah, that sounds about right for not being able to drink and you can't smoke. And
I mean,
you gotta,
that's about
keep it hyper focused.
That's as much as like a CVS pharmacist makes, right?
Probably.
Starting off, although. Pharmacists way easier.
Pharmacists make a lot of money.
Again, the computer.
Count the pills.
You count pills.
What's harder, trucker counting pills or air traffic controller?
Oh, listen, truckers are easiest. Then the counting pills.
Well, some would say truckers count pills too, but that's just a blurring of the job, like white crosses.
Actually, it's in the end, nutshell, it's a really good job if you have the mind to do it. Like if you're good with numbers,
there goes me.
If you can see those you can see potential conflicts in your mind before they come up.
Everything is a potential conflict in my mind. Everything.
And you got to be cool under pressure, right?
Yeah, and it's not like it's constant pressure. I know a lot of people say, oh, wow, you're an air traffic controller, that job is so hard. And my initial response is always, well, not how I do it. But,
I crash all the planes.
It's in the end, it's a really good job. It pays you well. It's got good benefits. And a retirement package, so there is a pension, and there's very few jobs that you can get a pension with anymore.
That's great.
And the worst parts about it are, depending on where you work, there's always going to be stress periods, but it's just a matter of how often and when they are. And then it's the shift work. You work night shifts. You work weekends. Sometimes you work midnight shifts. You work holidays. That I found over the years was the worst part of the job. Is like, if the neighbors or the family are getting together on a random Saturday, half the time I can't be there because I'm working on Saturday.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's been a really good job for me. I'm really happy with it. And like I said, I retired from the FAA, and I just picked up a job with a contractor.
Yeah, because you're so specialized. That's awesome. Well, let's pivot a little bit because we are going to run out of time. Let's talk a little bit about your hobby. So what is your main, or hobbies rather, what is your main hobby?
The main one. Well, I got 3. Well, I told you earlier I fly.
Okay.
My dad gave me the flying part. My mom gave me the horses part, because I've been around horses my whole life. And one that I guess I came by naturally, because my first word actually was bird, I found out. I'm in I have several parrots here in the house, and I am a foster coordinator for Central Florida with Florida Parrot Rescue.
Do I have a house for you if you want to schedule?
You got to
some
rescue these parrots.
I'm quite familiar with birds. No.
I got a man who'd be
my mother-in-law's a bird woman.
Well, I think you should start fostering again. Like Peanut. He was so happy. He thrived.
Peanut's still there.
He thrived at your house, though.
He bite crazy. He's now paired with Bubba. They're now mated together.
Oh, that's good.
Even though they're both female.
Well, they can live together now.
And
right? That's fine. That happens a lot now. I see it all the time.
Lay eggs with each other.
What kind of bird?
Laid eggs with this dude.
It's a green one.
It's a green trash bird. It's got a red thing on its head.
Bubba,
and a yellow thing.
Okay, there's the
Bubba's an African gray, right?
African gray, and then Peanut,
which is weird to me because I have never seen a gray African.
There's
ever.
Also, there's a cockatoo in there. Then Peanut is
there's a cockatoo in there. I see what you did.
Is a tinier parrot of some sort.
Yeah, Peanut is like a micro parrot, right?
Yeah, it's a little green parrot.
He's a little green pirate parrot. He's like the one on Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
The shoulder.
The crackers. That parrot.
So let's talk about birds, Nancy.
How many do you have?
In the house currently, fosters and personal birds, we have 15.
Holy smokes.
It's a lot of birds.
Yeah.
Now, I have a theory, Nancy, that...
And it's so quiet. How come your house, I can hear the parrots
down the street?
Okay, or she must be in a quiet room of some sort or not in her house, because if you got that many birds, they're screaming.
Do they make a lot of noise, Nancy?
Oh, they have their moments.
Yeah.
They definitely, in fact, before this call, everybody went in their cages, and I came in this other room and shut the door.
Yeah.
So it's lovely.
So, Nancy, I have a theory that that people that live with birds and care for birds have a unique ability to tune the birds out.
Yeah.
To the point where they don't hear them screaming.
Well, it's the same with people with their own children.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But it's like you don't understand, Sam. The children,
she saves her daydream until she gets home.
The children cannot compare to the screech of these birds.
So shrill. It is so shrill. I would let every kid punch me in the balls to not hear the birds shrill.
And I feel like Nancy's ability to tune in to the screen, the air traffic control screen, and tune the other world out.
Tune into the screen, tune out the birds.
She's doing the same thing, but like opposite with the birds. So when the birds go crazy, she's able to tune out and just focus on other stuff. Because I'm telling you, everybody that lives with birds and that I've seen can tune out the bird screaming to a decibel level that is unheard of. Yeah. You're like, can't you hear that going on?
It hurts.
And you can see in their eyes they have no idea because they've tuned it out. And sorry, Nancy.
Oh, don't get me wrong. There's times like when I come home from work and it's been busy at work, or it's just been a lot of chatter and a lot of noise. I come home and I don't want to listen to these guys. Believe me, I've had those days. I've learned some tricks over the years with these guys. One thing that actually works really, really well to chill them out is not only feed them when they're hungry, but also I play really quiet music for them. And if you lower the energy of the room, you lower the energy of the birds.
You know what? She's talking about something
amazing.
That's actually true. That have you ever been in a room and you have to get everybody's attention, and and then you'll be like, hey, and nobody's saying a word. But if you like just put your hands up and then you just start quietly talking, everybody will naturally lower their decibel level down to naturally hear what you have to say. Have you ever tried that?
No.
It works. And it'll blow your mind. Because you'll be like, and everybody they'll bring and they'll get quiet, and then they'll...
That's like a stage technique. You start lowering your voice, and people draw them in.
And I used to have teachers that would do it, and I'd fall for it, and I'd get mad as hell.
Nancy, we got to go, but the last thing about birds, everybody talks about how intelligent birds are, and they seemingly intelligent.
They can dunk basketballs, they can ride a little unicycle.
They can mimic, your voice and say a bunch of different words.
They can yell the N-word.
All these things. But here's where I question it just a little bit. Every time I've taken care of birds, I look in their cage and I see their water, and it looks like a stew of doo-doo stew.
Yeah,
of
they put the seeds and the wood chips.
You loaded all your food, and you put it in the water and doo-doo and everything in there, and it's all murky. It's a murky swamp, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I take the water out, I clean the bowl, I give them fresh water.
And then they stew it all over again.
And then I put it in their thing, and immediately they start dunking their food and dooing up the water.
Kobayashi.
And then I'm like, don't you want clean water, bird? Why are you... This is the only clean water you have.
Why do they always doo-doo up their water?
Well, they like to make parrot soup, and then they take a bath in it.
Parrot soup.
How smart are you?
Did you hear when she said parrot soup? The little cute,
it's disgusting.
Here's the thing. Think about this for a second. If you have no hands, no lips, no teeth, and you're fed stuff that when you bite into it, it explodes, wouldn't you want to dip it in the water first?
Okay.
I don't know, I've never thought about being severely handicapped and trying to...
Can we have a clean water dish and a dipping dish?
No dip. I don't know what dipping is. They don't even know what the concept of dipping is.
I know people that they'll have a couple water bowls in their cages, or they have to change them a couple of times a day. But we got a few guys that like to do that. They throw a whole bunch of food in there, and then they get in and take a bath in it.
It's coming for you, buddy.
Nancy, thanks so much.
Nancy, you were great. We appreciate you taking the time. We know that you're not necessarily a listener to our program, but we certainly appreciate your kindness and you giving us, candid answers and taking the time to be with us today. Okay.
I really appreciate the invitation. I've been listening. I was looking at the link to your shows. I've been listening to you guys. You guys are awesome. I love what you do.
We appreciate that. Hopefully we won you over a little bit.
Yeah, you're too smart for us.
Yeah. You're too sweet. And
you're no trucker.
You're like a good person. You're not a cocaine trucker.
Yeah, we're more. Our audience is more trucker. Just zone out, drive on drugs, and barely have to do nothing. Sorry.
Well, have a good rest of your Wednesday. Okay.
I will enjoy my Wednesday.
Okay, all right.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. See ya. That is... She was great. She's Nancy, the super smart air traffic controller and bird lady.
All right, we will be right back.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
Real quick, this Saturday, April 15th, it's the... Oh, no, it's not. That's next Saturday. Oh, no, it's
April 15th. Yeah, you got it right. You're getting confused because it is April 15th, but it's the 14th annual DeLand Craft Beer Festival.
And go swing by Cafe Da Vinci, grab a Just Call Mo watering hole pint glass, and also enjoy it. Not like their craft beer week is really
it's pretty awesome. I mean, you got live music, food trucks, 200 different beers, and the proceeds benefit the Main Street DeLand Association, a 501c3. That is my hometown. This is one of your more quaint and I would say pretty beer fests. So head on over there and do something good. And
live music, food trucks, and more than 200 beers.
Yeah, Cafe Da Vinci's rad. It's just a good venue, man, especially like in the evenings when it's nice and cool. You get out under the stars and under their lights, and they have these beautiful trees that kind of canopy the area. It's really, really nice. A nice little date night area. So go by our good friends over at Cafe Da Vinci, and when you do, grab that Mo glass and tell them that we sent you.
You want to do some voicemails?
Yeah, let's do voicemails. Because actually, let's do email first because we've been neglecting the emails, and then it'll give me enough time to load these guys up. Do we have anybody that's needing attention?
Well, this is from our buddy Cadillac Pat, who I did visit last weekend after I went and saw the Super Mario movie.
Crazy person.
Hi, gang. It's your boy Cadillac Pat. It's 3:49 in the morning. I just woke up and felt compelled to write to you.
Like I said.
For years, I have kind of hallucinated with my eyes open, laying in bed as I kind of sleep.
There it is.
It just happened.
Yep.
It's usually something to do with the fan or something on the ceiling because that's the way I'm facing. Sometimes, like just now, I am kind of aware it's happening and allow it to keep going and keep watching until it stops and I officially wake up. Or I try and control it a little. Only been able to manipulate them just a little before I kind of wake up. Have any of y'all had anything like this? That's all. Love you all. The show has been so good lately. Keep it up.
Yeah, I do that, Pat. I can stare at... I've made that joke before. About staring at the ceiling fan, and then I'll watch the blades, and I'll watch one particular blade, and I'll make my eyes go around as fast as the fan, so I can stop the blade on the ceiling, and then I just follow it a million times, and I just sit there confusing myself.
That's what a crazy person's eyes do.
Yeah.
Well,
I do the hoodly goodly or whatever. I do the.
Is that what he's saying he's doing, or does he is he falling in and out of consciousness, and then
it makes you fall in and out of consciousness,
like hallucinating, but he's.
Is it like sleep paralysis?
I think maybe a little bit of that.
Crystal used to have that, where she would wake up and then for
terrifying.
3 or 4 Mississippis, she was just frozen, but her eyes, you could see. She said when she used to sleep in class, she remembered.
That's good.
She's not a good student. So she had a science teacher one time. She was sleeping, and then her eyes were open, and the science teacher was like, "Crystal, wake up, wake up!" And then she was just frozen.
What?
And her eyes were open, so she could see what was going on, and it was a sleep paralysis, your brain, I guess there's a lag because your brain releases a chemical when you're sleeping to keep you from sleepwalking. That's why people that sleepwalk, they don't. That's what's wrong with
that
it.
Chemical, right?
And then it basically it makes you paralyzed.
I have
while you're sleeping.
something like a restless leg or something lately, and I know I have a lot of issues with my back and my hips. I've been working on that, but lately I'll have in my dream. And it's not just in my dream. It's in reality. My right leg, in my dream, I'll need to straighten my leg.
Uh-huh.
And I guess when I'm laying in bed, I'm laying in a fetal position. But when I go to straighten my leg, I've been tensing, almost being nervous in my sleep, anxious. And I've been tight while I was sleeping. I sleep straight like a soldier, at a every muscle of my body is just squeezed.
My God, man, no relief?
No relief. And so I'm squeezed, right?
You have
and then
sleep anxiety?
Yeah, sleep anxiety. And my legs and my arms are tight. Everything's tight. And then I'll go, in my dream, I'll go to, extend my right leg. And I'll go to extend it, and it'll hurt so bad that I'll scream. I'll go, yeah! Yeah! And then Andrea will, wake me up. She's like, are you okay? And I was like, I did that tight hips again. I'm crying.
My God, you need to do some ayahuasca or something.
Yeah, it's bad, man. I find myself when I'm watching TV, I'll be watching TV, and then I'll do a body scan, and my whole body is just tight. My whole body is flexed. It's relax, and then I have to physically go, and then release, and then I have to let myself kind of blob out.
Yeah.
It's weird, man. Yeah, I'm always anxiety tight.
Yeah,
always tight.
Yeah.
But I feel that's what's going to make me lose my elasticity. I feel that's why my butt is wide open now. I feel why everything is getting loose is because you can't stay tight all the time. It's impossible to stay tight all the time.
Yeah, but wouldn't that build
your entire body is a dance of tight and relax and tight, right? You're not supposed to stay tight all the time. If you tight all the time, you lose your elasticity. And then you get a big old beehole. And that's what I'm heading for.
So being too tight will make you loose?
I think so. Because you can't stay tight all the time.
Okay, yeah. Man.
This is just science.
Ayahuasca, something. You need to blow it out. Something.
He's blowing it out. That's the problem.
It's just science. Is anybody else not the whole chat room is he's the crazy one? I've officially settled the debate.
We can get a shaman. We could do it.
I'll do it. I just know Andrea's afraid that's going to change my personality completely.
Well, but what if it's for the better?
Yeah.
I've never heard of anybody coming out worse, other than the one guy that died.
Yeah. But that's
he had a condition.
That doesn't scare you. As the paranoid member of the show, you just said the only person that had a problem was the guy who died.
Yeah, but my family's full of addicts, and they live forever.
Okay, that's true. That's just science, too. All right. You're hitting me with logic.
And then, it's not like, so many people have died from alcohol. You're taking, so it's not, that big of a deal. Ayahuasca, if it's just one death.
Plenty of people die of alcohol every day. Hundreds. Thousands.
So, it seems like I'd like to do it. I'm just scared of it.
More people die in car accidents. I still get in a car every day.
I'm scared of it, too.
Yeah, I'm just scared of
car rides. Not
that intense, sweet leaf juice.
Okay, what if they gave it to you and put you asleep? So you don't remember it, or give you the drug.
I don't think that's how it works.
No,
I think you have to go through.
I think you got to go through it. I think part of it is going through the I'm throwing up.
The chanting and
the
I'm not going to chant.
You think
well, you don't. The shaman does.
Tom ain't going to chant. And if the guy starts chanting and hitting drums, Tom will be like, knock that ass off.
Yeah. Even ayahuasca, I won't chant.
All right, now put your hands in the center. No. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, can we do it without the uncomfortable, shaman?
It's part of the process,
with the headdress and the shells?
You don't even need that.
Yeah.
The only reason you would need that is if it meant something to me, and it means nothing to me.
No, he helps you not go down the wrong path, and then demons are coming to get you.
No, I'm talking about the headdress and his little loincloth. I don't need that because it means nothing to me. So you can just wear, shorts and a T-shirt.
Or scrubs. That's fine.
Scrubs would actually make me feel safer if you wore scrubs.
Can we just get a nurse with scrubs, and then I do it in, a hotel?
I don't want scrubs.
I don't want to be in a hut with a puke bucket and then the shells.
I don't want it to be hot. Can we do it in the cool?
Can I do it?
You can do it in a hotel room.
Can I do it at the Hyatt?
No, I don't want to do it in a hotel room.
Why not? It's comfortable.
That's what Neil Brennan does.
It'll look like all the pornos I watch. I don't want to see that.
I think the rich celebrities.
Oh yeah, they got guys.
They do
in New York City,
but they do it in a hotel and it's comfortable and it's nice.
Yeah, they rent it out for a whole week.
Yeah.
Like Chelsea Handler.
Yeah.
Well, she went down to Peru.
Yeah. I don't want to go down to the hut.
Neil Brennan does it on the reg, and he has a guy here.
I don't think you're supposed to do it on the reg, right?
Well, he's addicted to it.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. He's like, I just keep doing it because it's great for me.
Well, he does it once every 6 months.
I think that's too much, right?
Yeah, I think it is too.
He says he's better than he's ever been in his entire life.
How many demons do you have?
But he says he'll never do DMT again.
I listened to his podcast, and I didn't think it was that great. I'm just saying, if it's revolutionary.
No, not his content. If you don't like his content, that's different than his mental state.
But, yeah, I guess if it keeps helping
made you funnier.
If it keeps helping you, and there's no negative effects.
He's off. He said he's off all of his meds.
Well, you know how many people tell me that and are bat-ass crazy?
Yeah.
Everybody I know is the whole goal is to get off my meds. Then next thing you know, they're remarried and they're got a mohawk and convertible
he seems fine. He's been doing it for years.
Yeah, if you could do that chemical instead of another chemical, it's fine.
You're just swapping them out.
Yeah, swapping chemicals.
But it does seem like doing that every 6 months.
Well, it's natural. As opposed to the compounded chemicals that doctors make, or not doctors,
but he must
big pharma.
Yeah,
the experience you could because all the ones that had changed people, the experience was so intense.
Nude, you're in a tent, it's hot.
It really intense and maybe a little scary and so maybe for him it's pleasurable. Right?
True.
Could it be pleasurable?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it could be anything to anybody, right?
People didn't describe it as pleasurable.
I think it's different for different people.
Yeah.
Let's try this voicemail right here.
Hey guys, it's the Barry Joe. Y'all mentioned on today's live stream about some bluegrass and how there's not much of it around. You kind of got to dig for it, but once you get in there, there's a lot of really great stuff out there. Charlie Parr is one of my number one artists right now.
This is one of a ton of bluegrass voicemails that we got from people that wanted to correct me. And so I was talking about Billy Strings and how popular he is in bluegrass, and people are like, well, there's tons of good bluegrass, Dan. And I'm like, I'm not saying there's not. It's just not typically popular.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
You gotta dig for it.
You gotta dig for it. I mean, this day and age, you can find pretty much any music you want. You want fresh polka music? You got it. You want polka rap? That's probably out there. If you want Polish rock music, they got it. You know, if you want to dig into Brazilian progressive metal bands, they're out there.
Norwegian reggaeton?
There.
I got you.
It's there. It's all there.
Yeah.
Everything is there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's just not that popular. Like, bluegrass is a sort of a forgotten music. Rock and roll is becoming sort of a forgotten music. I mean, the big music now is hip-hop and pop.
Bluegrass, the southern, typically,
I think so, yeah.
Like, we're talking, I guess...
Kentucky?
Tennessee, North Carolina,
Kentucky,
the
Georgia,
South,
Carolina.
all the way,
Yeah, a little bit of Florida.
Okay, yeah. All right, so that's where
Louisiana, maybe?
Yeah. Not very much Northwest.
I'm sure it's there.
Portland bluegrass?
I'm sure it's there, but
No, you know what? Portland
traditionally.
probably would because they're hipster.
Yeah. Canadian bluegrass? There's everything.
Yeah, dude, there's hillbillies in Canada.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And there's European, too. You know, I mean, it's just like, I mean, you look at a lot of Scottish music and a lot of even Irish music, a lot of the same instruments and a lot of the same strumming and picking progressions are exactly the same. So it's pretty interesting. But
Brazilian bluegrass.
probably there. Not traditionally, but it's
there's
there.
someone that's doing it.
It's
right
somebody's doing it.
On the internet.
That is what's kind of impressive. You
Sam,
know,
look
like,
up Brazilian bluegrass and see if
Okay.
something
I'm sure
pops
there's
up.
somebody doing it, you know.
Everybody's doing everything.
Like, I knew when everybody was doing
Infinity.
everything when I saw an all-white mariachi band.
Matuto Band is Brazilian bluegrass.
Yeah, where,
okay,
like,
yeah,
the
yeah,
people
yeah.
didn't look... Like, I'm looking at them, and I'm like, I don't think anybody in your family is from a Latin country. I don't think you were born in Mexico. You're just regular white guys that really like mariachi.
Yeah.
There's a Brazilian Bluegrass Music Association.
There you go.
Yeah, there's
Maybe it's,
everything.
you know, it's funny. You start asking questions and you dig in, and then it's like, it was deep-rooted in the 1880s. You know, like, there's stuff that we don't know about.
Yeah. It's all...
So much content.
It's everything. You know, there's you can fall into an information hole about every single anything you could possibly think of.
Yeah, it used to be when I'd lay on my floor and I'd look up at my World Book encyclopedias and I'd go, what do I want? Let's go for number R. Wait, no, let's go to H and look at the nude, naked bodies. You don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
You have everything you would ever want to know at your fingertips.
Also, I feel like it's making me feel lazy because I'll think about something and wonder what the answer is, and I will full on know. I could look it up on the internet,
But you'll
and
choose
find
not to.
it, but I'll choose not to because it's just too much work, and then I'll just convince myself I don't care that much.
Okay, what do you think? Let me ask you this.
I was like, who cares?
Let me ask
Move
you this,
on.
because I've been dabbling with Chat GPT to write show notes for our stupid YouTube videos because I don't want to write them.
Yeah.
But, like, I am seeing a plethora of people that are using, like, Chat GPT to just write notes on social media. Good or bad? How do you feel about it? Because I feel like if you're using it to write a social media post, you're taking yourself and a lot of, like, the nuances that make it you out of the equation. So I don't think you should use it there. If you want to use it for something that needs to be a little more business and a little more cold and a little bit more just straight information,
Facts, yeah.
then use it. But if you use it to write a Facebook post, you don't know what you're doing. You're a dumb person if you do that.
Well,
because what it's doing is it's actually changing your personality.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a good representation of what this media form has been labeled, which is social media. It's supposed to be you, right?
Okay, so...
Yeah, but most celebrities just have people write their statuses anyway.
I'm just saying, I've been reading,
not you, yeah.
I've been seeing an onslaught of people that are business people, regular people, people that I know, friends of mine, and I look and they'll write something for, like, a loved one. They'll write something about, like, their business or something. And I'm like, you didn't write that. You're not smart enough to write that. I know that.
So this goes into this topic. I thought about this the other day.
These people are going to end up getting caught.
When I use grammar checks and whatever the software is, whatever I'm posting to change my misspellings and fix my grammar,
You got to click on that thesaurus, man. Make yourself look
but
smart.
Is that another example of changing what I actually wrote and correcting it?
Good question.
Because
technically you are using technology because you wouldn't spell it correctly.
And sometimes
Correct.
I make posts
Like
and
Castleberry,
I
yeah.
just hit post
Me too.
and then it's full of and then people actually say like Tom actually wrote this because
I actually like it better if you write it.
Yeah. But then I feel so stupid showing people how stupid I am.
You got to throw like one typo.
but I'm changing it. I'm like, should it be just authentic? I write all horrible.
If it looks too perfect,
I don't know, man. You're a business owner. You can't have it all.
I gotta show them. I gotta show them more.
Never show them.
It pulls out all emotion, and like even ChatGPT will tell you that. Like it doesn't have the ability to show emotion. It'll tell you that if you ask it. But what's interesting to me is that like I can look at a post now. I think I'm really good at it. Almost as good as I am at hearing your voice and knowing what job you should do. That's been a talent of mine for years. But like I can look at what you wrote and go, "Oh yeah, you didn't write that. There's no way. There's no way in hell you wrote that."
And should we, as a
you
society,
should discount people and shame them for doing that? Yes.
Should we, as a society, stop, because people do this all the time with me and with other people. They will make a post and then all the comments will be correcting their grammar. Like there is THIER. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't do that anymore.
And then it's like, well, what are you, their English teacher? You know what they meant.
Right.
Who cares?
Right.
And that means that they're just authentically writing what they are. And you're also seeing how dumb they are.
I don't.
You're seeing how uneducated they are.
Or seeing how real they are.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the mistake that Chris Rock made in his special. I like the mistake. A lot of people disagreed with me on that. I got a ton of email about it, but I like the mistakes. It makes it real.
It does make it more real.
I like real.
And then, like, that goes on with all social media, too. It's like people are only posting the best times of their life. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not seeing the mistakes and the worst times.
It's just like, if you're going to go to a computer, and if you need to have artificial intelligence help you share your emotions, this could be, like, good for you, right? Like, you could sit down at ChatGPT and have it write, like, a love letter to your wife. But my point would be it's not real.
Yeah.
Like, why would you even do that?
Sam, one time, with the flowers that we got as a gift, so Sam was like, "Hey, bring these flowers home to your wife."
It was like her birthday week.
Yeah, it was a birthday.
Or something, I don't know. Oh, no.
Is why she's a good producer. She's looking out for me.
She's really good.
But I told her,
always looking out for us. Never.
I think it's your anniversary. That's what it was.
Yeah. I mean, she'll let the business burn down, but she ain't gonna let us ruin our families. And I appreciate that, Sam.
I was like, but it's meaningless because I didn't buy these for her. Someone gave them to us. So then re-gifting them to her.
I gave them to my wife, and I got a BJ.
It doesn't mean anything, you know. And,
it's pointless.
Well, what about when do you buy cards for your wife?
I've seen you buy a card for your wife.
I do.
You didn't write the words in that card.
And it's weird, but I only do it because it's tradition. And
do you write
doing it.
But you
things
hate
in there, or do you
tradition.
just sign it?
No, I write things.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, then see, that to me, that's why I think people shouldn't use it. I mean, I see a lot of people, especially a lot of people that are in the like personal development world. You know, for whatever reason, I get a lot of that. I think because I'm like friends with, you know, like Mark Marrow and Jenna and Jason. They're those guys, right? They're like motivators and stuff like that. So I get a bunch of those type of guys on my algorithm, but they're talking about like using this to do stuff like that, like using ChatGPT for that, and I'm like, I don't think you should use that. I think it literally sucks every ounce of emotion out of anything that you would be doing.
Yeah, it seems good for like fact
pure like word tractoring.
Yeah,
like you need a heavy lifting.
Like you know, I know that realtors have started using it for just describing a house,
right?
You know, and things that are just,
that's fine.
You know, and also
I used it for Tropodelic social media plugs. I needed it for show notes on YouTube.
Oh, I shared that in their group.
And I said, hey, give me show notes about Matt Rhodes and Tropodelic and put all their newest social media links in the notes. And he just went, and then I was able to go slap it into YouTube. That's fine. But I wasn't writing a love letter to Matt Rhodes. I would, but, you know.
Yeah. If you're,
he's a snack.
Mm-hmm.
You're using it as a, you know.
A tractor. That's what old what's-his-name says.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name? The productivity guy started with wine. Everybody loves him.
Yeah, started with wine.
He started with wine. Gary V.
Oh, Gary V. He started with wine?
Yeah, he started with wine. He's a wine guy. He started with wine. And he calls ChatGPT the modern-day tractor. Because he says it's no different than it can till your lines and it can help you curate a bunch of things if you need to line it up. But, it's not going to...
good for certain things,
It's not going to plant the seeds.
It is the precursor to something that you know we're going to start using AI for everything, and then it'll be the next generation.
Yeah, it'll be
just
a thing.
We're really in a simulation.
Yeah. Well, that's the argument that eventually we're in it now because if
we're creating it.
Yeah. How do we know we're not in it? Anyway, all right. Bye. Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producers here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
So, a big weekend at the Orlando Science Center.
Bigger than big.
And to talk about it, we've got Spencer and Jeff. How you doing, Spencer?
Hello. I'm doing awesm.
How you doing, Jeff?
Good to be here.
It's really good to see you guys. What's been, well, now this is going to, it seems like they like to do crazy things like us. They like to do a lot in a small amount of time.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, let's go. Yeah.
Right.
You guys like to push it to the limit, and I think that's why I love you.
Yeah, we like to play with that space-time continuum.
Yeah. Stress yourselves out a little bit and do some fun stuff.
Before we talk about $12 Day, which is an amazing deal.
It's your gateway to the Science Center. That's what I'm saying. It's half off.
That's
you
good.
Get in there, check it out. Yeah, it is your gateway to check it out. And then once you're in there, you're going to do what I did, and you're going to become a member.
And that's on Sunday, but the whole weekend is great outdoor weekend. So, Spencer, what are we talking about?
It's kind of weird, right? Because the Science Center is designed to bring people into a building and then show them cool stuff. But this is the one weekend in the year where we kind of celebrate going outside as well by bringing them inside. So a little bit oxymoronic, but it's pretty fun. We have all kinds of really cool stuff. We talk about how it can be beneficial to spend time outdoors, what you can actually do with it. But then, of course, talk about the science behind environmentalism and climate change all at the same time. So it's an awesome weekend. We have all kinds of awesome stuff planned.
So let's talk about the outdoors and like. I feel like we have limited knowledge of what is going on with plants and the environment, and
I just read an article last week that they said plants make a clicking sound.
A click? I heard the screaming one. Maybe it was the same one that just got telephones.
You guys are watching way too much Last of Us.
Exactly.
It said that, and I think I sent it to you.
I saw a story. Speaking of Last of Us, I'm glad Jeff brought this up. There was some, I believe it was in India, but a man died for the first time ever from some sort of fungal infection that he got from
jungle fungal.
And then it was like Last of Us.
It's happening. It's happening.
Great.
Everything's too hot.
Which when I see that,
I didn't know that's what it was about.
It's a jungle fungal.
Spoilers haven't started
mushrooms.
Yet.
There's a mushroom thing.
They're not zombies, Sam.
So,
what?
They're not zombies. That's all I'm saying.
So, okay, and Spencer, you can figure this out with me. I love figuring things out.
He may not want to.
You've already figured it out.
I'd love Spencer to say, stand up and say, you know what? I am not doing what you're asking me, sir.
And usually when I figure things out, people are like, yes, everybody knows that. And then I'm like, I just figured it out.
Also, I can see it in Spencer's eyes that he knows you're not going to figure it out.
So when I see a story like that with the man dies because of some mushroom fungal infection and stuff like, and when I see a story, I'm like, would we have seen this story if it wasn't for the popularity of The Last of Us? I feel like maybe this has happened, thousands of times before.
When my wife used to work at Wesh, that would happen. They'd be like, "Oh, what's in the news? Or what's the big show? Oh, The Last of Us. Oh, what's happening? Look that up and see if there's any. Oh, there's some news. Make it crazy and scare everybody."
So, Spencer,
I think that's astute. I think you're just spot on, right? I don't know that this has happened a million times before, but I don't think we would have heard about it if it wasn't for The Last of Us, right? Because that's the whole point. That's what media does.
Yeah, that's what I think, Spencer. Oh man, I love Spencer. Back to the Earth.
Oh,
back to the Earth.
I love me some Spencer.
So I get like 90% of my science from Joe
TikTok.
Rogan.
That's right, TikTok, yeah.
Which is more embarrassing to say?
He's not a scientist, but
which is more embarrassing to say?
I think both have PhDs, so you're good.
If you say I get my science
both
from Joe
TikTok
Rogan
and Joe
or I get my
Rogan.
science from TikTok, which is worse?
I'm going to say, boy, you need some science.
That's not good sciencing, man.
Well, it's really from Joe Rogan talking on TikTok. So it's both.
It's a combo.
And then I see him talk about the Amazon rainforest, and then he says that there used to be
I finally saw this clip.
millions of people in the Amazon rainforest and huge civilizations, and there was and by the way, I'm getting all this from a 3-minute clip and then moving on and then thinking I understand everything. I'm not going back and researching any of it. I think that's what most people do. Is they
I don't
just
have
see
time.
something.
I don't have time to go back and research
and then
no, most people actually don't. Most people do what you do.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, no, I know, I know. And
just watch it.
And then I'll fill in the blanks of the
And then he tells his business partner in the morning.
Oops, all blanks.
Yeah.
But he talks about the Amazon rainforest and how there was huge civilizations in there, and they found it out through I guess ground penetrating radar in some plane that they could scan the floor of the rainforest through this plane and see a bunch of irrigation canals and structures and stuff and the grids, and then by the way, I have no idea if this is true. I see the CGI of the plane flying away. I'm like, he's telling the truth.
Oh, he's got CGI.
Again, I don't research it after. But then he talks about the reason why it is the way it is now is because, people that were exploring the rainforest, Europeans or whoever, civilizations or got and basically brought disease into the rainforest, similar to the Native Americans here in the United States. Like when the Europeans came over, it just spread smallpox and all these diseases, and no one had the immunities for it, and it just wiped out gigantic, huge civilizations. And then people thought it's there's no one here. Well, the disease wiped them out. So have you heard about this? And it's amazing that the Amazon just took over everything and hid everything.
Yeah,
basically.
Speaking of Last of Us, right? That's the whole vibe of The Last of Us.
Yeah.
That nature just takes back over. I haven't heard of that specifically. It's always interesting because just prior to coming in today, I was like, all right, he's going to come up with some random story I haven't heard about. Let me see if I can preempt it, right? And I looked up what happened in climate recently.
Oh my God, they're onto us. They're the tall one will make up the weird stuff. The little one doesn't care. He just sits there and makes jokes the whole time. He's just firing off jokes the whole time.
I'm sorry.
Sorry to broadcast that to everybody. No, I haven't heard about that specifically, but it is interesting because that goes into what I've been thinking about lately, which is the difference between environmentalism and climate change, right? Like that. I mean, it's kind of weird because that involves humans getting the disease as well. But significantly impacting things like forests and life, including humans in the forest. That's environmentalism, right? And it's a byproduct of humanity. It was unintended, hopefully, but it still happened according to you. So that's how environmentalism works. Like, we're not intending to break everything, but you're dang right we are.
It's actually according to Rogan, and his red face says it all.
Oh man, he's red as heck.
Why is he so red? There must be sport.
Figure that out. Do an exhibit on why he's so red. He's so red.
Science,
if you put him on our couch, you'd only see a shirt and shorts.
So let's talk climate change for a minute.
Everyone's favorite.
I don't believe in it.
I feel like climate change did itself a horrible disservice, and it may have been back to where Al Gore and started bringing recognition to it. And
Mr. Internet.
Global warming, it started off with global warming, and I think they've corrected it now, but that seemed to be the problem with people, because every time it got cold, people were like, see? See?
Still cold.
Still cold.
Not warm here.
Yeah. And then that, I feel like, set everybody back, the marketing of it. And then it started making me realize how important marketing is to important issues. And really, I feel like scientists should get together with gigantic marketing firms.
Oh, yeah.
So, because I think like...
to market the truth of science?
Well,
that's a good idea.
Or just, this is how we should market this, or...
They'd only do it if there's tons of money in it, right? That's the only reason they'd want to do it.
Yeah. Because if not, then you get global warming, which probably a giant billion-dollar marketing firm would have told you, hey, don't market it like this, because you're going to cause you're going to set yourself back 10 years.
It's kind of what we're doing right now anyway. Like, we have a Science Matters campaign. I think I've talked about it before on here, but the current one is about climate change. It's called Protect the Planet, and we are the marketers for the scientists. That's kind of what our job is. I wish they would pay us a bunch of money for it, but we'll just stand with like getting the word out. That works too for me. But I think you're right. Global warming is an interesting term. It's not wrong. Like, it's objectively getting warmer overall on average, but that's kind of hard for people to understand. And I think that's the marketing conundrum, right? It's like, it doesn't really matter what's true or what's not. It's our interpretation of the truth that matters, from watching a 3-minute clip on TikTok of Joe Rogan or just reading a headline, which is more often what happens.
Can't read.
Exactly.
No, I'm talking about Tom.
Right. Yeah. Depending on how you say it, if you only have 10 seconds to get your point across, saying global warming probably isn't the right one. But honestly, saying climate change might not be it either. And I know there's terms like climate crisis that are floating around now. I don't know. I love talking about it, but I don't personally hate.
I say climate is big boned.
That's
what I say.
Maybe
I feel like that's a softer way of saying it. The climate right now is just big bone.
Exactly, right? I love talking about it, but I don't really like the terms because it's just like everyone gets hung up on like the specifics of like what do I call it, or it's like it doesn't really matter. Call it pink dragon if you want to, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. It's what's happening behind it that
I don't like that name.
You don't like pink dragon?
Yeah, I don't like pink dragon.
Well, I don't really like climate big bone.
Get him!
Oh my God! What's
Space Daddy's gonna
happening?
get you.
Spencer, let's talk fusion because I saw I don't know when it happened, but a while ago everybody got excited because they were like, we proved we can do fusion, and that opens up the door to infinite clean energy, I guess. I don't know exactly.
That'd be neat.
I don't even know what fusion exactly is. Like
Clean energy. What is that?
So explain to me fusion and what possibly. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, just give us the.
No,
we're going
tell
deep.
a baby.
Give us the give us
How
the
long do I have? 45 minutes for fusion specifically?
Give us the children's book.
And then
version.
how you would take fusion energy and turn it into regular energy? Is it like nuclear? You should turn steam. I like it always goes down to steam. What is it? Steam.
I'm a huge steam man.
It's all steam.
Yeah, I love steam.
Yeah.
I've always been a steam guy.
So
I think fusion is awesome. It's kind of this thing that like, nope, not going 45 minutes. Here we go. We're going back to what fusion is.
Okay.
Fusion is when atoms come together, right? Nuclear energy as we have it is when atoms are torn apart. And so that's pretty easy to understand. A bunch of little atoms vibrating all over the place. Sometimes they're going fast enough, they hit to each other, they fuse together, and they release energy. That happens all the time in our sun. It's happening right now. A bajillion, gajillion, million, billion atoms of whatever the heck are producing lots of energy from the sun. That's how we're all breathing and alive. The problem is that we're not the size of the sun. We don't have the mass of the sun, and so we can't just like do that. We're trying to do it on a much smaller scale, but still get energy out of it. And what you're talking about is we've proven it can kind of happen, but we still didn't do it. Like, we still haven't gotten energy out of fusion yet. We basically have to heat things up to just like absurd temperatures and try and do it that way. But you can't use more energy to heat it up than you are getting out, because that is a negative sink of energy, which is not the point. So you're kind of trying to spark something like an ignition that then does it on its own. It's just much easier to tear atoms apart than it is to put them back together. But it would produce lots of energy if we could figure it out. I'm still hopeful, but I think we're decades away. And I think it kind of obfuscates like the actual change that is happening. Like, fusion's not going to fix it. You know, fusion will be one of many, 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 many steps that are also happening concurrently. But I think fusion is it's kind of just like it's clean energy. It's like futuristic sounding, you know, like Star Trek has fusion drives. I don't know if that's true, but it's just like this future term. So yeah, like fusion will fix it, but it's not going to work quite like that.
Gotcha. But it still comes down to steam, right? Like,
it all comes down to steam. It all comes down to steam.
Why does it all go
That's
back
a good
point.
Most versions of energy is basically just making water hot, and then it gets steamy, and then you spin a turbine, right? And that's all we're doing is spinning turbines. That's how we make electricity.
Turbines.
Yep.
Yeah. It's what happened to like just the ball of energy that you somehow can plug into?
You just plug your USB into the ball.
It's a floating ball of energy that you can use for anything.
Right.
Yeah.
You can just take it and push it into your gas tank, and off you go.
So, Spencer, talking about energy, we've got the sun, right?
Let's start. Write that down. Sam, write that down.
Write down sun.
We've got it.
We've got the sun.
Yeah. And
we've got the sun. What do you got?
But it still involves batteries, and this science
sun?
is
big batteries.
It involves storing energy in batteries, and a lot. So if you got clean energy, then you store it in batteries for us to use, right? And now this science is coming from my Uncle Randy, who screamed, "Who's making the batteries?"
Right.
Then he screams, "All for nothing."
Yeah.
It costs.
How do you recycle them?
And then he tells me some science that he learned on TikTok as well. But
he's watching Rogan.
He's got a different algorithm. About the batteries cost is just as damaging to the earth.
Watching Rogan and bikini contest.
And then he always brings up how have you seen what kind of labor it takes to mine the stuff that's in the batteries?
Yeah.
And he doesn't understand what the stuff
keep
is.
my diesel tank
And so it's still like making batteries. We're still doing it the old way, and there's still a lot of waste that's associated with batteries, right?
For sure. So I think that's a good point. That like realistically, right now, a lot of our solutions aren't fully soluted yet. Solutions.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
I feel like we got to workshop it a little bit. I don't think that was great there.
Right there, man. I like that.
All right, you can take it.
That is fantastic.
Like electric cars, right? Great. But if they're being plugged into your house and your house is burning coal to make the electricity, then ultimately you're not really doing anything.
Oh, that's what he says at a meme.
I
follow him on Facebook, and that's all he says.
Right, that's just constant. Yeah. But does that mean we shouldn't be investing in electric cars? Because like the goal is that in 10 years, solar panels will make your electricity, which will then make your car free of any emissions of any kind. And we can't just like start making electric cars in 10 years. You can see how long it's taking Tesla to get off the ground and actually produce a functioning business, right? It's because it takes a long time. And so we have to start developing things that require batteries, that require electric cars now, so that when we are producing the electricity in better ways, when we come up with a battery technology that we can recycle it without any waste, when we're making them with better labor, that'll all be in place, when that technology comes around. So you got to start small in all these different pockets as they eventually funnel up together in some kind of awesome climate pyramid.
I feel like speaking of people that ruined it for us moving forward, like Chernobyl and other nuclear disasters and meltdowns have ruined nuclear energy because essentially it was kind of clean, or at least cleaner than what we had.
It was working.
But then you're like, oh my God, it's going to take 200,000 years for the radiation to go down. Like, you're like, it's forever.
It only works until the first disaster.
And then you looked at it and your face is red in the whole town.
And you have tail and wings.
The fish have 8 eyes.
Don't talk about fish. I don't want to talk about it.
So when the nuclear energy relatively clean, but disasters kind of ruined it for everybody.
It was interesting the way you said that. It was like you got Chernobyl and the other ones, and I usually challenge people to like, okay, what are the other ones? And then also name all of the nuclear plants that didn't catastrophically malfunction and have just been producing clean energy for decades, right? Like there's thousands of those. We don't super talk about those ones, right? We're just talking about the one that we all know about.
Because the negative sticks in your brain.
Exactly.
I know about Turkey Point down in Florida.
Turkey Point. We can't talk about that.
My buddies go and the manatees all huddle over.
They like warm. Warm nuclear, but their tails are glowing. Big fat glowing blobs.
Yeah. Well, then it goes back to marketing, right? And like disasters, horrible marketing for any sort of nuclear energy.
Yeah, it's tough because like the information's out there. It's just that no one's gonna, that I don't even really dedicate the time to like research it more. There's plenty of blank areas in my brain that I should know about. So it really is just marketing, right? It's how do you get them in that 10 seconds, 30 seconds? Maybe they're going to dedicate 3 minutes to a TikTok. And that's just what we're trying to do. That's what science TikTok's trying to do. Like, there's great TikToks out there. It's not inherently a problem. And Joe Rogan puts out lots of perspectives out there, not inherently a problem. I just listen to all the perspectives that he brings on, and make up your own mind. Think about it. That's all I'm asking.
Tom doesn't want to do that.
Like actually think about it. Don't just listen.
5 hours long.
Yeah. Not Tom specifically. Maybe Tom specifically.
It's so hard to think about it, Spencer. I just like to scroll video to video. And
like, that one looks good. That's my opinion. That's what I believe.
Yeah. Exactly. So let's talk about $12 day and what that opens up for people as far as like if someone was maybe hasn't gone to the science center.
There's plenty of folks that have never checked it out.
And then they're like, it's $12 day on Sunday. I'm going to bring my family. What would you suggest? Because it's so huge. I feel like it's almost hard to do everything in there in one day. So if you're going to take advantage of what you think people
you need
like
a battle plan.
Where should they start? Where should they end?
All right, so I'm biased, right? Because I work in our public programs department, so we do programs. We do shows and experiments and demonstrations for people. And so I'm biased, but I'm going to say anytime you see a staff member doing something, go to that person and do something with that staff member, because that's where the real good stuff is.
Gotcha.
That's where you're really going to learn it and where you can talk to people about science. And if you want to talk about Joe Rogan or whatever you want, by all means, talk to this person. But we have plenty of awesome exhibits too, of course. That's just not my team. But you're going to want to go see things like, Dino Digs is the standout. But if you're going for Great Outdoors Weekend, we have all kinds of Earth exploration activities going on. We've got bouncing ping pong. Basically, you're playing ping pong balls to try and calibrate carbon things and learn all about global warming and what that term actually means. I mean, there's tons of stuff to do, but whenever you see someone in a purple shirt, just walk up to them.
I like that.
That's what I'll say.
Little exhibition.
Speaking of Dino Dig, and I feel like this is where like people can't comprehend something that's so amazing, they think it's fake. And I'll explain, like a dinosaur fossil, like a T-Rex fossil. They've seen Jurassic Park and everything. And
have you stood under
when
one?
you show them a T-Rex fossil, that's why I think people are like, no way. Like they think it's fake.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no, this is Jurassic Park. And then I think that's where they lose.
There's a disconnect.
The disconnect is like they were experiencing fiction before actual reality.
It's like when Jeff had us look through the telescope. It changed my life. I feel different now. It's like doing ayahuasca, man. Like I am have a whole different idea of the world now because I saw when
I saw Jupiter.
Yeah.
With my naked eye.
It still rattles me a little bit.
It gets real pretty quick.
Yeah.
But also, it almost, your brain is like, no, they're like, you put that on the top of the
I know. I know.
There's no way I'm looking at the planet Jupiter.
To people that haven't been and done well, we were very lucky during that period to do that.
Yeah.
But it's hard to explain that to people, and then they're like, yeah, you're just saying. I'm like, no, you don't get it. Like when you see it and then you see the detail of it and you realize that it's real without looking at the disconnect of like a computer screen or your phone. There's a different feeling inside of you.
It seems unbelievable.
Yeah, it does.
Do you find that people often question it because they just can't believe that it's real?
For sure. I mean, the two big science things, right, are space and dinosaurs. And there's a big debate in my department of which is better. And space is objectively correct. But dinosaurs are like a close second. Like, they're also pretty cool. The thing that I find interesting with dinosaurs and kind of unbelievable is that these things just come from the ground, right? Like, it's one thing to walk into a science center and see the T-Rex skeleton there up above you and you see how big it is and like, okay, I wouldn't want to mess with that. But those bones were in the ground like a mile deep. That just happened. Like there just happens to be a canyon there, so we were able to get in there and actually extract these things. And imagine being the person that digs that thing out of the ground. Like that's just a thing that is there below you right now. There's just bones all over the place. And that's the real one. Is we have staff members who go out and do the digs, right? And they bring back pictures and they bring back fossils like Triceratops teeth. They're like, yeah, we just had so many of these, they didn't want to keep them, so I just have a pocket of Triceratops teeth now. And it's just you just picked that off the ground. It just was there for 60 million years. Okay.
It's great. It's
That's cool. It's hard to believe until you're actually there.
Yeah, that's crazy.